There I am. Okay.
Okay, I see it now. So just kind of work.
So let me quickly send some invites real quick. Let's see. All right, so I'm sending some invites, so just give me a few seconds. Let me see what the comments are saying, if anyone's saying anything. Oh, there's already an early one from Chang Fu. It's good that somebody besides me understands that this stuff even worse than COVID. Kelly Hua Lee May, she's gets that last look from deception. It can work. Others, it's over last cause woke. Okay. Anyway, so let me send in more. Hey, what's up, the man on the mountain? How many more people are here? Let me see. Hold on. Oh, there he is. All right, let me get him in.
Hey, yo, what's up, man? How's it going?
What's up? Pretty good, pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for the delay of getting the links out. I gotta get more people in.
It's cool. It's cool. Gotta get So the first stream like this, so it's gonna be a little bit of a learning process.
Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
So what you been up to? Playing anything or anything anything like that?
Not really currently. I was playing Prototype 2 earlier because I like just, stretching guys across the city with like tentacles and shit. So, but outside of that, nothing really. I have to work on this animated project soon, so I've just kind of been slacking, being a bit lazy. So,
The Augur thing?
not Augur. It's a commission for this woman. She wanted me to do, and then the other stuff is like another project. So it's actually a few things I should be working on right now, technically.
Okay.
Yes, the good old fashioned highway.
So I'm trying to copy this link on my fucking phone. Because I can't open up Discord through here because for whatever reason it won't open up. Because I had it open up earlier, but then StreamYard was telling me that they can't access the mic or anything because something else is open. So I'm like, okay, so I had to been Discord.
Yeah, probably got to do it through your phone or something.
Damn it.
That might be like the easiest way to copy the link on your phone.
I'm trying,
and then,
but it won't let me. Fuck it. You know what? Hold on. I gotta send this guy a link too, so I'll send it to him real quick. So you remember the topics?
Yes, I vaguely remember them, but you can. I remember when you bring them up, we'll go over them.
Okay. Hey, Cassie Cage, what's up?
Cassie Cage is in the chat. Oh shit! What's up? The man of the mountain. What's up, bro?
If anyone wants the link, then they can know where to find me. Oh, he popped out. What the fuck? So I'm trying to get this to work, and I'm fucking slow as shit. All right. Send it to you. No, that's the wrong one. Fuck. Oh, all right. Give me 1 second. Hold on.
Yes, I've returned from the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, everything's doing well, Cassie. How are you?
I'm doing good too.
Well, I'm trying to get this fucking shit. These fucking links.
Yeah, everything's going well. Today's a rest day for me. I'm like super sore, body's beat up. So Saturday, perfect rest day. Emerald, what's up, man? Everyone just give it a second. He's sending out some links, trying to tinker with this. So all patience is appreciated.
Maybe I can email myself the link and then I can access it to my phone, and that way I can give it to I have to give it to Reborn and Hubcap because I know they want to join. So let me see if that works. Hold on, let me get him in here. What's up, Christian?
Christian. How's it going, man?
Doing great. I have a huge Blu-ray and DVD collection.
Sweet. What kind of
Yeah.
DVDs you got, man? Show us. Got
Well, I have a lot. I'm not kidding. A lot.
Sweet, sweet. Is it all forgotten media?
Well, some yeah, but I like collecting Blu-rays and DVDs because I'm personally not a fan of streaming.
I kind of agree with that. I actually like having having things physical as well. Like I have Batman the animated
Yeah, me
series.
too. I
I,
actually
I
like
have
that this one.
Yeah, I have like the whole series on Blu-ray because it's like my favorite, and I'd rather have the physical copy than digital.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
Let's go, Conroy 2.0. Let's go.
Well, I'm good with voices.
Yeah,
Cassie, I'm glad your brother's doing good.
Good voices.
Yeah, we talked about it before. Remember, I'm still have you in mind for one of the projects I might be working on. So
Yeah.
I'll definitely keep you in contact with you.
Thanks.
So how are you with anime voices? Can you do like a shonen kind of voice? The shonen pro tag? Oh man, you went mute.
Yeah, just in case she didn't hear, Cassie, I'm glad your brother's doing good. So that's a good thing, definitely. Hope
Oh
all
yeah,
stays well too.
Yeah, Cassie, sorry about that, man. I hope everything works out and he's doing better.
Whoa, hold on. Jinpachi, you sound like a robot for a second.
Hold on. It might be me because
Right,
I couldn't hear Christian. Can you hear me now? Do I sound like the Borg? Do I sound like a Star Trek villain?
No, you sound good now.
Okay, sweet.
For a second, it was like fucking Transformers or something.
Beep boop blorp. Beep
You
boop.
underwater.
Beep boop. But yeah, so I couldn't hear Christian, could you? He kind of like went mute on me.
Maybe he's having some technical issues. Christian, if you're still there, you can. Oh wait, hold on. Let me invite him back in real quick. Here we go.
Yeah, no problem, Cass. I actually have lost a few family members recently in like rapid succession, sadly. So I know it can be rough when people are in the hospital or aren't doing well. So I really, my heart goes out to you and your family, and I really do hope everything goes well.
Yep.
All right, Christian. Yeah, so I was saying I didn't hear you did the anime impression. I couldn't hear you, man.
What?
When I asked you to do the anime pro tag, the shonen voice, you totally muted out.
Well, I did a Goku impression like hey, Majin Buu, I think you should lay off the chocolate for once. Boo don't get sick from eating chocolate.
That's awesome, man. Imagine Boo kills me.
I also do bo super fist of the nose hair. I'm like a Monty Python character.
Yo, you remember that show, Bobo? That was an epic show.
Voiced him.
Ah, okay. Richard Epcar, he did a Bato, right?
Yeah, as well as Raiden from Mortal Kombat.
Ah, yeah. He's good.
Joseph Joestar.
Yeah, he has that like kind of stoic voice, that really stoic, like badass, like gruff voice. So
believe it or not, he was also the Joker.
Which Joker?
Injustice and Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah. Correct. Injustice 2 had Mark Hamill return, right? Or is it still Epcar?
It's still Epcar.
Okay, yeah. I forgot about that.
Richard Epcar has never listened to Mark Hamill's Joker voice at all.
But that's to the benefit of him, because sometimes if you don't have a frame of reference, you can think of something entirely original, as opposed to if you've heard the previous iconic Joker, you might be tempted to copy him, like Troy Baker, who's like
and Epcar is the only.
Thanks, Cassie. I appreciate it. We need more Don Patch out here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out how I can send this because Discord won't open due to my desktop. So I'm trying to send out the links. I don't want to. Let me see. You know what? Hold on. Give me a second.
So in the meantime, what games has everybody been playing recently?
Well, I've been playing backwards compatible games on my Xbox One.
Nice. That's basically what my Xbox is. It's just a backwards compatible machine. I mean,
Yeah.
that's all. I hate to say it, but that's all it really is good for right now.
Yeah.
I've been playing. You know what game I play a lot still? Max Payne 3. Like I don't, for some reason, no matter how many times I beat that game, I can always play it and have fun with it.
Yeah, and I was enjoying Saints Row 2.
Oh yeah, and Saints Row 2. Like my last playthrough, I created an abomination of a character. He looked like a freak, like a total freak. Oh man, Saints Row 2 is goated. And
Yeah. My favorite teammate is Shandi,
okay.
voiced by Eliza Dushku.
Yeah, I remember when I was younger, I used to think she was really hot. The actress, I was like, man, that woman was fine.
She's from Boston.
Is she?
Yeah, I'm from, MAS, so Boston.
Okay, yeah. So it's kind of like that hometown vibe.
Hmm?
You ever played Metal Gear Rising?
Yeah, I did play some, and it reminded me of Devil May Cry.
It does, and that game is incredible. I just love how over the top it is. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like just like the sheer action alone is like hasn't been replicated since then.
Yes, and I bought a physical copy of Arkham Origins.
Sweet. So you already know about my channel. You've seen like I freaking go crazy on Arkham.
Yeah.
Like I love those games. I kind of wish they made a Deathstroke spinoff where you play as him as like the main character. I mean, that's like that was never like gonna happen or like it was never planned or anything. But I think it's such a waste that they didn't make a Deathstroke Arkham-esque game. You know?
WB mistreated Arkham Origins like how Disney mistreated the Buzz Lightyear animated series.
Disney mistreats everything. They've shit on every franchise that they've owned without fail. Like period.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You know, the only thing, I mean, honestly, I think that the only reason why Marvel got lucky as it did was because the first set of heroes were like fairly, I wouldn't say like accurate, but they were fairly tame. There weren't really a lot of politics or anything. It was focused on bringing the heroes to life. And once they had passed that initial phase of the original movies, they just started to like say, okay, our brand is big enough now. Let's start interjecting politics into it. And they just ruined the Marvel Cinematic Universe to me.
Yeah.
So Disney, like anything that comes out, if it has Disney branded on it, I'm like, all right, got to take it with a grain of salt. I heard they got rid of Cinderella. I mean, not Cinderella. I got rid of her. I heard they fired her or something. That she had some kind of reprimand because of like what she's been saying online. Not Cinderella. Sorry, Snow White. The actress. What's her name again? Ziegler. I want to say Ziegler. Solo, you should definitely play Dragon's Dogma. That game is amazing. Even now, it holds up pretty well. And being that Dragon's Dogma 2 is coming out, it might be a good time like to play through it and like catch up. And I think it's got to be like super cheap. I know there's the PS4 version. It's got to be like really cheap now. Ziegler, yeah, Ziegler. I heard that she got like fired or something from Disney. I don't know if it's true or not, but
I'm still trying to figure this shit out, man. Damn. Fucking won't let me send the links, because on fucking Twitter it won't copy the link through there. So I can't send it through Discord on my phone, and the shit won't fucking open up on my fucking desktop. So I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, Zegler. Yeah, I mean the movie's still gonna come out, but I'm glad they fired her from future projects. But again, like it's Disney. I hope they like just fail. I hate to say it. You never want to like to say you hope a company fails, but I really hope Disney just gets their comeuppance. All those IPs can go to probably different studios, different companies, and maybe they can be treated a lot better.
Give me a second.
I would love for Batman to become public domain eventually. That would be like a godsend, because like the Batman 2022 is an abomination. I'm sorry. I know people like that movie, but that movie was not it for me.
Jim Pacho, you got my email?
Hold on, let me check.
If you do, can you... Damn, you won't be able to send it through your phone anyway. Oh my god.
Yo, Reborn, what's up? Crestfallen.
Yeah, Reborn, I'm trying to get you in because of the fucking...
Ain't no way.
Discord won't open on my laptop for whatever reason, because this is on. So for whatever reason, it can't do two things, because StreamYards wanted me to close Discord before I can even enter the fucking stream for whatever reason. And I'm trying to get the link through my phone, but fucking Twitter won't let me copy the link. So let me see. So I'm definitely trying to get you guys in. So just give me a second. I'm really trying to work through this shit.
And
Gal Gadot has nothing on Zegler has nothing on Gal Gadot. Period.
I recently got this comic book based on the obscure animated series The Legend of Calamity Jane.
That sounds familiar. That's super obscure. Yeah, that has to be. What year did that come out? The 90s?
Yes, it had Barbara Schaff, Clancy Brown.
Oh, Clancy Brown. Okay.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah. Anything Clancy Brown is in, like, he knocks it out the park, man.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in the Punisher show as well? He had a live action appearance in that show?
I didn't see it, but I do know he voiced Baron Praxis from Jak and Daxter.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like, he's like just as prolific. He was in John Wick 4 as well. Did you see that movie?
Yeah, but for some reason, I think of him as, like a Richard Epcar sound-alike. And look alike,
really?
too.
Really? To me, every time I hear Clancy Brown, I just think of Lex Luthor. Like, he is like Lex Luthor forever to me. Or Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, but
yeah.
It's just... I'm on the autism spectrum, and I just have a huge fascination of lesser-known stuff, like Evil Con Carne, Go-Go Moba Boy, and all that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we all have our things, like our niches that we just dive into. Like, you'll be surprised. Like, for example, like I can like spend hours just like learning about like obscure like Muay Thai fighters, kickboxers from the past, like lesser known guys. So it's always more interesting because they have less exposure. So the rabbit holes can be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It's more fun when you discover as you dive deeper into those rabbit holes. So I kind of can relate in a way.
Like the Murray Wilson Rock and Roll Dad animated series. It was made by Peter Bagg and Dana Gold. Yep, the Dana Gold that voiced Gax.
Yeah, Greater Ninja when he had trouble gliding and was afraid of heights, I was like, this ain't it, man. I mean, I was like, this ain't it before, but even before that scene, but that kind of just cemented to me that Matt Reeves does not you can't make a movie like that and claim you like that character, if you know what I'm talking about.
Who else is here? Greater Ninja. Okay. What's up, everyone? Hold on. Let me send. I think I can send the link now. I made it work.
Yes.
So
Muy bu-
basically, because I had sent the email to the thumbnail to myself, and I went to it and I replied to myself the link. So that's how I was able to make it work finally.
Gotcha. As long as it got settled in and settled out, we're all good.
Yeah, and for
Anyway,
the
you guys
Murray
keep talking about
Wilson
that, so.
Rock and Roll Dad Animated series, it had a great cast, like Paul F. Tompkins, Tom Kenny, Dana Gould, Jill Taylor, Nika Futterman. It was back in the year 2000. And Murray Wilson, the father of the Beach Boys. Oh, sure! Brian Wilson, the big genius. Well, he wasn't such a genius when he was wetting his bed at age 14. He wasn't so cute then, was he?
Man, that scene, how you put the kid on blast like that, went into bed at 14, that's brutal. That's brutal. You ever seen that show SWAT Cats? You remember that?
No.
Oh man, you got to check that out. That's really it's not that obscure, but it's kind of niche. You should definitely check it out when you get a chance.
Yep. And I even have Jonan Vasquez's comic, Johnny THM. Because when you think about it, had he not made these comics, then Nickelodeon would have hired him to make Invader Zim.
Invader Zim was kind of overrated for me, to be honest. Even though I liked it, it was a little overrated.
Well, it had some interesting deleted episodes.
Oh yeah, I mean that show was kind of pushed the limits too. I remember there were some crazy moments as well. And yeah, cult classic. Cassie, yeah, that show was pretty sick.
Hello. What's up? Hi, Christian.
Hey, we're going.
Hi, and
How are you?
I have the Cyberfrog warts and all.
Amazing.
Cyberfrog. Reborn, what's up, bro?
I'm fine.
How's it going? Chilling?
Yeah, chilling. Got a lot of stuff to take care of, and I sent Revenant Dean's, but we will discuss it in our very Thursday.
Seattle lesbians, what the hell? Sorry, I'm reading the chat.
Yo, like Jim Patchy, not gonna lie, yeah, MMA workout is great, bro.
Bro, I've been training for my whole life, man. Like MMA for almost 10 years, and I used to wrestle, do taekwondo, boxing, but I appreciate it, Thank you.
Yeah. and also Christian Fates, how are you, by the way? How's things going?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me respond to this real quick. Crestfallen, any game that has body type A and B instead of just male and female is pandering to the woke crowd. I'm sorry.
Bro.
Do we know what a woman is?
Bro.
Well,
Do we?
I prefer calling it the politically correct.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's the point, bro. Like,
That's pretty much what it is.
Politically correct,
by
but
media. I don't stand by no BS what media say. Okay,
listen,
I'd rather have my entertainment back.
but think about it, right?
Yeah.
It's quote unquote politically correct, but biologically wrong.
Yeah. That's true.
Agree.
That is true.
Because how the hell you look? I get it. Like they just want to play safe, but to me, if you're putting body type A and B, that's not a fucking coincidence. You're putting that in there because you're trying to show everybody that hey, we're supportive of this ideology, and we're showing it through this little option when you're choosing your gender or your character, whatever. So whenever I see that, it automatically puts my guard up because I'm like, all right, so if they're willing to pander in this way, what else are they going to pander within the game, or what else is going to be added to the game that's going to fucking basically play ball, How else are they going to play ball? What else are they going to do to bend over for the alphabet community or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, so Hubcap can't join today, but I told him I'll definitely let him know in advance the next time we do a podcast, so that way he can join.
Yeah. He
So
can
it's
join
cool.
my podcast, but the thing is, his Christian faiths, we are not like your time zone different than ours. Because what right now it's like 12 a.m. You's probably around like 8 or 10ish. Am I right?
Mine is 7:35 p.m.
Yeah, same here.
Well,
Yeah.
we can. Well, look. The thing is that we just have to be more organized for this next stream.
Sims 1 and
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
That's
That's
good.
really it.
Yeah.
Bro. That is
I
good.
thought I was, but
Exactly.
then I realized that.
Isom,
Shit.
Isom's 1 and 2.
Wait, what?
No, it's just Christian. He has Isom 1 and 2.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you know.
Okay, so
I'm glad the
we can
alternative
get into the
exists.
topic. We can get to the topics, right?
Wait, before you say that, Emerald Source, yeah, like freaking it's kind of crazy that hentai games are
Yeah,
more
Black Desert.
and are more friendly to the player than
Mhm.
modern AAA devs. They're more conscious of what people actually
Bro,
want. Like
And they,
not that I play them, but I've like seen them, and like even then they're more geared toward gamers than what AAA puts out. AAA wants to put out walking simulators and have fucking celebrities in there to
But-
basically like a playable movie. And it's weird that hentai games have more interactivity than a lot of modern AAA games. It's really sad.
Can I say some Junpachi? Because the thing is, right now in modern day gaming, every company want to push their game open world, but they're not even experienced amount of no NPCs and a lot of stuff. Because same goes for Assassin's Creed Mirage. I seen it. Everybody's still not happy with Mirage because it brought back, its roots to
Well,
like stealth.
Mirage is an abomination though.
Yeah, but the park cover, they say the work in park cover, but not every gameplay, bro. That's the thing.
I just think
Well, since
Ubisoft doesn't
we're-
know what they're doing. They just want to pump out like more Assassin's Creed games, and like even their attempt with Mirage is half-assed. They even added like fake ass fear takedowns to the game.
I prefer
And,
Sly
like-
Cooper. I prefer Sly Cooper over Assassin's Creed.
Main
I don't
character is
I don't
Randy
blame you.
Savage.
I don't blame
I'm not joking. I'm serious.
Yeah. Oh yeah, guys. By the way, just to let you know, because since stream, you're trying to like run my battery down. It's at 10%. So
All right, man.
I wouldn't just say it's nice to speak to you, to the free views. Kind of respect it, and also Revenant.
Right.
Keep up with the stream. I like it. That's what you need to do right
Thanks.
now.
Next time I'll definitely give it to you in advance because now I know what I have to do to.
Yeah,
send it to you.
that might be
Yeah,
the best course of action. Just do everything in
Yeah.
advance.
Yeah, this thing kind of like threw me off a bit, even
Yeah.
though I thought I was prepared. But
That's okay. It's okay because it's the first time that you've done it. So
Yeah,
in the end of the day, there's gonna be a bit of like mistakes and learning process or whatever. So you just know for next time. That's all.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I'll also by the way, before I go, Jim Pat to Revenant. Bye Revenant. I'm gonna like DM you on Discord, but I'll tell you by next week because
Okay.
we go discuss it and it's gonna be great. Even though I'm gonna say something, you be laughing or so. Yeah.
All right, man. Well,
And also, before I want to talk about one thing,
Okay.
my last mine. The truth is, the media is racist by themselves. It's not us. So we ain't no racist at all.
yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I'm not racist. No one
Yeah.
here is racist. I
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
assume so.
And by the way, not to support Israel, and they're doing stuff to kids.
Listen,
Oh yeah,
man.
yeah.
Disappointing.
The stuff going on right now is horrible, man. It's
Yeah,
absolutely
so-
awful.
So hopefully this is like a good distraction from the bullshit that's going on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad
Exactly.
South Park called it out too. Both sides. I'm glad.
Yeah,
And
there's a lot of crazy stuff happening, man, in the world.
Yeah. Because the truth is, they hate the media, the journalists hate the company brand. For us,
We didn't start the fire.
exactly.
Yeah, we didn't do anything.
And the truth is, the last thing, right now, the media blaming Ubisoft for not making the Assassin's Creed Mirage like an RPG. So It's not us fault. It's them.
Let me address some of the comments. Rico, there, I agree. I actually played. I played Elden Ring, and I didn't even notice the A and B body types when I started playing the game because I guess my mind was just not on the pronoun bullshit that's been going on. And then I think Revenant told me that Elden Ring had body types A and B on it. But it's kind of funny because if I started the game now, I would definitely notice it because they raise flags by doing all the pronoun shit they're doing now. So it's kind of like it's kind of funny that they put themselves in a position where they alert people to the woke shit and then complain when people reject it. When they're the ones who created that situation. While before, like I said, with Elden Ring, I didn't even notice the body type A and B. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah. All right. So guys, I'm gonna see you next week. By the
All
way,
right, Reborn.
I need
All right,
to
take
go
it
because
easy.
my phone is running out. Nice to speak to the fields used, and I hope we have a great discussion on this week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It'll be smoother the next time, regardless. I'm
Yeah.
100% certain of that.
I DM me right now, Revenant. And by the
Okay, I'll
way,
check it out when I get the chance.
see ya.
See ya.
You know, Crestfallen. So yeah, I think that might have been like a last minute change, or it could be a localization thing. Because I'm sure the original game obviously was in Japanese, and whoever localized it probably made the body type A and B thing, which would make sense why the characters will refer to you as he or she within the actual universe of the game itself. You know, like it was a last second change by localizers. I'm pretty confident. I have no real evidence to support it, but I'm pretty sure most of the body type A and B is just localization.
More than likely, yeah, like on Namco's part or something.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So if you want to get into the subjects now?
Yeah. So I mean, since we kind of were getting into Assassin's Creed, we can go through that first.
Okay, sure thing.
Going through any, it's like no particular order anyway. So Assassin's Creed Mirage did come out. I don't know if anyone in the chat has played it or were interested in it, but you know, I know I didn't play it. So, but I've seen a few reviews and a few people talking about it, and does not seem like it's a return to roots at all. For one thing, you got the guy teleporting like it's fucking Batman. What is it, the fear takedown. That's what it is. Yeah, so he's like doing like fear takedowns, teleportation shit, and I don't understand how that's like a return to roots at all.
But you know what's
I don't remember
laughable?
Altair or Ezio or any of them teleporting to people, and the bullshit excuses that the Animus, it's like a glitch in the Animus that they can't detect where he's at or some shit. And it's like all these different like bullshit lore reasons.
Asspools.
Basically, yeah, doesn't make it any better because of course people can just make up a reason why it's happening. I can make up a bullshit reason if I have two heads.
Well, here's the thing though about that. Like compare, because it basically functions like a fear takedown. Yet Batman does a fear takedown without teleporting. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that in Assassin's Creed Mirage, they could have had the same ability without teleportation. So, like, how do I put it? Like, there's other games, and even like Splinter Cell had stuff like that, like the when you mark targets. So it's not like they had to have you teleport in Mirage. So I still think it's a terrible decision from the developers themselves to add that into the game because they could have kept it more grounded. I guess that's my point, that they could have kept it more grounded and instead still chose to go with like some supernatural power shit. And then they had to create an ass pool to justify it when they could have just had it work like Arkham Knight or Splinter Cell Blacklist, which is a Ubisoft game.
Crestfallen, it's pretty much like a watered down Valhalla. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it was originally going to be DLC, but they did all this other, like, it basically like stripped it down a bit to where it's like fairly basic. But a lot of it just seems, I mean, almost like identical to Valhalla. So people are like making excuses for it and shit, but that's basically what it is. It's a watered down Valhalla.
Yeah, like you take out most of the RPG elements, you keep the shitty engine, and you call it something new. I mean, you change some things, but
yeah, I wish it was like Unity, but
I just think that what they should have done with that game is actually make it like Unity, like somebody in the comments mentioned that, and actually I do agree with that. That's were my initial thoughts as well.
Yeah.
They should just make a game like Unity that isn't buggy, because Unity looks better. Honestly, Unity kind of looks better than most the last 3 Assassin's Creed games, in my opinion. And on
No, it
top of
does.
that, it had the smooth parkour, and it just had more of like a, I wouldn't say traditional story, but it felt more in line with the older Assassin's Creeds, as opposed to like four Black Flag and the last few that came out. So why not just make a non-buggy Unity and just rake in money, you know? Why not just give fans what they want? Because I've never understood that. It's like they'll do anything to get you to buy the game except give you what you want.
Yeah, basically. Christian, you got any thoughts on Assassin's Creed Mirage?
Well, I want to do a donkey impression. Assassin's Creed sucks enormous gorilla dick.
It definitely does, though. It does.
He's right.
I remember
He's right.
I saw his Origins video. Yeah, that song, like Assassin's Creed, is a great franchise
Oh man,
because it's
Well,
like so
Assa-
fucking buggy.
Assassin's Creed was great in the first 2 games. Everything after that is dog shit, basically. I mean, Unity is not that bad, but they're like none of them are as good as the first 2, in my opinion.
Yeah, I wish Unity actually launched like not buggy. I mean, by the time I played it, it wasn't that bad, but even then, it was still had like some issues. So I think if it
Non-broken
didn't
Unity.
have all those issues, then it would have been like clearly like one of the better like Assassin's Creed games. But since it's kind of like has that like
It's buggy. It's like
yeah,
it's like
so it's kind of
Arkham Origins. I loved Arkham Origins, but it was a buggy mess. I mean, Revenant, you remember when you were there when I bought the game, and I was like fucking sinking through invisible bridges and shit. So it's like, yeah, the game is fun. It has cool boss battles, but if the game is a broken mess, how much praise can you really give it? So I would consider Unity in that, but sadly, it released in such a bad state that like it would be like disingenuous for me to put it up there.
Yeah,
You know, maybe like the fixed version, obviously, but
if they remaster it.
And somebody made a good point. The man on the mountain says, "Yes, it's Iraq, and there's girl bosses."
Oh yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Is a female.
No hijab in sight.
It's the fucking I'm guessing his childhood friend or some shit in the village is a woman. She's barely even covered up and shit. It's like they have like all these different races of people. You got Asian people, black people in Iraq and shit. And it's like,
bro, like,
how does that make sense? They used to care about historical accuracy. They got rid of the crossbow in Assassin's Creed 1 because it wasn't historically accurate.
Well, it's revisionist history.
Yeah.
Because in the end, because all right, here's the thing. Historically, there has been a lot of racism, religious divide. I guess like women, the cultural norms for women and men, and they're very offensive to soft leftist weirdos today. They can't handle it, so they nerf it or they warp the story to basically do revisionist history, right? Because if you play, because the thing is, like, with a game like that, they want to glorify those I don't want to say minorities, but those racist or religious groups back then. They want to portray them as the good guys. But if you have like the appropriate amount of like what was actually happening during those times, it'll be hard to empathize, sympathize, and like those characters. So they have to do like, like I said, revisionist history to make it acceptable for modern leftists. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, you can't have
it's got to have your forced diversity. That's exactly what it is.
Basically, you can't call. They don't want to portray these characters as good guys. Meanwhile, they're stoning women for not wearing a hijab, because then they're instantly not likable to most of modern leftists. So they say, all right, well, we're gonna change it. It's not gonna make sense. We're gonna have we're gonna have Asians, whites, blacks, whatever, all mixed into this area of Baghdad. Mm-hmm. And we're gonna pretend like there wasn't heinous shit going down by those communities themselves. You get what I'm saying? That's why those things never really work, and that's why, to me, like, when you're pandering, especially with history, you end up playing a slippery game. You get me?
Yeah, because the thing is, history isn't always like pretty. It's a lot of fucked up shit happened, and which is why it's like when you learn about it, it's a good thing, because then you know what not to do, how not to like live, and how to treat other people. But then when you try to paint it in a completely different picture that's false, like everyone's just singing around and having the time of their lives. Like, no, that's not how it was.
Yeah, it was in Kumbaya. I mean,
So when you're trying to change it and make it to something that is incorrect, basically, but then you also want to sell people on
historical accuracy.
Then that's when it gets fucked up. Then when people say, hey, this isn't historically accurate, then you want to toss around, oh, you're sexist, you're racist. What's the problem? And all sort of shit. And it's like, the problem is you're not being historically accurate because there was other games before it where it actually was trying to be historically accurate.
Well, especially with the first game where they had the Muslims fighting the Christians, basically. That's basically what it was. And that, you know, they didn't pull any punches with that game. If that game came out today, it would be like portrayed pretty differently, I'm sure. And like, again, like,
hold on, Heartless, we're actually going to be talking about Mortal Kombat 1. So if you want the link, you could, you can reach me through Twitter. It's the same name. But I mean, if you don't have Twitter, I can just send the link.
Definitely
here, because we're all going to talk about it. So
exactly, you're free to come on and debate,
and I'll give you a chance to, you know, say what you got to say and ask whatever questions. So just let me know.
Exactly. So, but yeah, like, so Ubisoft, it's kind of like, in my opinion, there's not much, I don't want to say deeper thinking going on, but like you could kind of on the surface see what it is, right? Like Ubisoft is like a French company.
Mm-hmm.
France has a large population of like, it's a highly left-leaning population.
Yeah.
And French Canada. So of course, you know, the games that they pump out are going to be in line with those ideals.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, what's up, gamer Wody?
Gamer Wody. Whoa. What's up? No, that's the thing. That's what, yeah.
Wody.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah, so I mean, like Assassin's Creed Mirage. I mean, like is anybody really fooled? Did anyone really think that was going to be a return to roots for the series?
Some people did.
And I'm sure that, like, again, I'm sure that there's some redeemable qualities in the game, but like, at least for me personally, I just can't see myself spending money on things that are not gonna. If I have doubts about them, I'm not going to spend my money on them. I don't have that fear of like missing out on it, right? Like MK1, I love Mortal Kombat, and after I learned my lesson with X and 11, it's like I'm definitely not going to buy MK1. And then I saw the game when it came out, and I have no fear of missing out. Like I saw the story online on YouTube. I saw like the full story, and I'm like, thank God I didn't buy this game.
Yeah, you showed me.
You know what I mean?
Like, oh, like it's pretty bad and whatever.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, so. It's kind of the same thing with like Assassin's Creed, where people are showing like he's teleporting. I heard the ending is pretty like underwhelming. I'm guessing because it leads to Valhalla, ties into it because it takes place before it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. To me, it's
Whatever.
like not really like worth it.
I guess like for the person themselves. Future Mermac, we're talking about Assassin's Creed right now. But yeah, so. The thing is that at a certain point, like you just have to ask yourself, like, do I really care about missing out on this game? Like, do I need to play this game? I know it's going to probably be mid. Like, if you're going to buy Assassin's Creed Mirage, like, why not just wait till it's cheap, till it's dirt cheap? Why buy that game full price when there's so much doubt going into it? You know what I mean? And like, especially with Ubisoft's track record, and it's not like they're not gonna release another edition. It's not gonna be cheaper. Like Assassin's Creed hasn't had a true resolution to the story in
so many years.
ever. Like there's no resolution. You buy the game and your story never goes anywhere. It's like it's Bobobo, the assassin world, the assassin version of Bobobo. Like it goes nowhere. You know, so.
Heartless, I was kind of hoping for us to have a one-on-one debate with you. I mean, you can still join. It could just be me and you talking for a little bit if you want. So I'll just tell like Jinpachi or Christian or whoever else may be on, you know, just just wait until we're done or something.
Mm.
But if you really insist on doing a one-on-one debate, I don't know.
I
Because
mean,
I don't know
like,
if people are gonna even like want to see that. To be honest,
well,
I don't know, but
we're not gonna look. If you
thing
join,
is
if
that
you
would
join
be-
in, if you join in, we're not gonna gang up on you. Obviously,
I
obviously,
tried
I
to
think.
explain in the video beforehand that like, if you
Yeah.
wanna, like, debate, you can
Crestfallen,
have to-
Jaime says Richard Epcar's Ansem from Kingdom Hearts. I remember when Billy Zane was Ansem. And the thing is that the reason why Billy Zane didn't return is that the Disney company didn't call him to let him back.
Maybe he was difficult to work with. I've heard that celebrities have been notoriously hard to work with in the past. So I don't know. It could be that, or they just didn't want to pay him. Billy Zane ain't cheap, I'm sure. So
Yeah, that's possible. That's probably what it was.
but to Heartless, I was gonna say, if you join in, you're gonna have an opportunity to speak and defend your points. We're not gonna gang up on you. Obviously,
yeah, if you
I
wanted
also
to, like, be like between me and you for a little
obviously
bit.
I think it's woke trash as well. But I'm hoping that anyone who comes on here to debate will debate the issues and address those issues. So I wouldn't be worried about being ganged up on if that's what you're worried about.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have anyone come on here and like they like double teamed or anything like that.
We're not gonna throw any ad hominem at you. We'll address the issues of the game itself, which I feel like really shouldn't be that difficult. It shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't be too much of an issue. No one's gonna attack you personally. We're not gonna gang up on you. However, I will personally talk about why I think it's woke trash, and Revenant will give his point of view, and you could give yours. So, in the end of the day, like, you're free to join in if you want to. And that was kind of the point of this podcast. It's not to gang up on anyone. It's just anyone could come on here and talk. Like I said, no one's going to make this personal. No one's going to attack anybody. Just keep it strictly to the issues and there should be no problem. It shouldn't really even matter how many people are here. Because again, like Revenant and me, we have very like minds on this subject anyway. So it is what it is,
Exactly.
Yeah, we're talking about Mortal Kombat 12, right?
Yes, aka the
One.
that game is. I just can't believe people defend that game. And I even saw. I don't know if you want to use this as a segue into Mortal Kombat 1 because I know we were going to talk about it a bit. But
Hold on, Game Award, you said Assassin's Creed hasn't been good since Black Flag Origin. Oh, fucking chat. Hold on.
well, Heartless, we have
was okay, but game was just so bland, and same enemies were just op for no reason. Yeah, I had a lot of the same shit. Kind of felt like repetitive. I agree.
I actually tried to beat Black Flag, but I got bored and uninstalled it again. But Heartless, yeah, we still have a few more subjects to go over. So, like I said, you're free to join if
And
you
Sly
want.
Cooper had a pirate episode which predated Black Flag by 8 years.
Oh wow!
Give me a few minutes, real quick. I'll be right back, and then when I get back, maybe we can talk about Mortal Kombat.
Murray, you head in front. Sly, you jump and press the circle button.
Believe it or not, the Sly Cooper cast did a skit where Sly, Bentley, and Murray try to rob KFC.
Oh my God, KFC! They got them.
It's
Okay.
really funny, and Murray's like, usually I come in through the back door, but Bentley, if you tell me I should go for the front, I'll do it. Here I go. And the KFC guy's like, hello? You pull. It's a pull door. I can't get it open. Listen, you big, fat, crazy-looking hippo, quit pushing on the door and pull the door. It's very simple. I can't get in. I gotta... Murray, just pull the door. Here I go. You're right. And it goes on.
Bro, I'm impressed that you can remember all that. I'm legitimately impressed.
Thanks.
There's a lot of that's gonna be a handy tool for voice acting, man.
Thanks.
Shoot, that's unbelievable. I never seen that though. So wait, it was a skit on YouTube.
For the Gamerland podcast with Kevin Miller, Chris Murphy, and Matt Olson and Justin Worsham, where they do a skit where Sly and the gang rob KFC to get all the spices and herbs.
Listen, KFC, I don't blame them. I would want to steal those too. Imagine being able to make that every day for yourself.
And Bentley's like,
I've got some help. Murray, you gotta get your hands on that sack.
Why stop there? Why not go after Popeyes as well? Get them chicken sandwiches at home.
yeah, and the KFC guy who's the tiger in the MK1. Listen, before you guys head out, could I get a ride? Because I'm hungry. I would love to get some Popeye's chicken. And Sly's like,
Well-
they're a better chicken restaurant. You're right. And Bentley's like,
You know what? He could use my time travel machine to go back to 1910. Get a radio show with that voice.
Let me respond to a few comments real quick. Rico, yeah, like Mortal Kombat 1 is mechanically broken. I actually saw a video where someone was showing that if you're player 2 and player 1, some combos don't work. Even if you jump and switch sides, they still don't work. So there's a distinct player 1 advantage with certain combos. The Switch version is broken. Like it's like, in addition to it being woke, it's also like not completed. It's a broken game as well. So especially on the Switch.
Deception and Armageddon have more content anyway.
Yeah, and honestly, they may have fixed it, but it still doesn't change anything. That game was mechanically broken. I mean, it does change it. It fixed it. But that game just destroys the lore. You know, you have Johnny Cage acting like a cuck. So like, I don't even need to explain how it's woke, because it is. Anybody on the surface can see it. I'm willing to go into details about it, but it's not a secret, you know? And yeah, I love Popeye's chicken sandwiches. Oh, and Crestfallen, yeah, like the thing about Black Flag is I got extremely bored playing the naval sections of the game. They really just dragged on for me. I didn't enjoy it. I'm not gonna say it's objectively bad, but for me, like, I found that game like way too long, way too padded out. I didn't like the forced crafting to progress through the story. Like, I wasn't a big fan of it, to be honest. So yeah, sorry, I just wanted to address some of the comments.
In my opinion, MK1 felt like it was made by corporate lackeys.
Yes, it's a very corporate soulless game, definitely. And come on, like the ending of the game, spoilers for anyone who doesn't know, where you have all these like mixed quote unquote multiverse versions of the characters, were stupid as hell because it cheapens the characters, it takes away the stakes from the story. Like, I just don't see how someone could really be a long-term Mortal Kombat fan and think, yeah, this is a great Mortal Kombat game. Shao Kahn's a bitch. Johnny Cage is a cuck. Who you have Kung Lao.
Excuse
Kung
me,
Lao,
it's General Shao.
General Shao Chicken, whatever the hell. And then they got this guy Johnny Cage, and Kung Lao. He's like, he calls her a bitch. He's like, oh, how dare you call her a bitch, like a simp, even though she's trying to kill them. Like, that game is terrible. It's written terribly. The gameplay, I guess, is fine. It's workable. Cameos ruin the 1v1 aspect, because I think it's really ass when another character runs in like a half-baked Marvel vs. Capcom, something that no one ever asked for from Mortal Kombat. Like, that game is awful. And I get that people like it, but there's no defending that it's undoubtedly woke and bad.
And also, it's some of it is a bad recreation of Deadly Alliance. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
with
true.
Shang
It is.
Tsung.
And you know, somebody said in a comment, they were like, because I thought it was Chronica that had given Shang Tsung his powers, and rightfully so.
It's pronounced Chronica.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. The old Crony McGee. Throughout the game, in the beginning of the game, we're implied that she's messing with the timeline, and they don't reveal that it was Shang Tsung until the very end of the game. And I remember I had stated in a previous video with Revenant that I don't like.
Rico, yeah. AC Odyssey and Origins had microtransactions. Anyway,
So I had said that I think it's ass that they remove Shang Tsung's badassery by making him receive his powers from somebody like Kronika, and then it turned out to be an alternate timeline Shang Tsung, but the original Shang Tsung. But it doesn't change anything. For up until the beginning to the very end of the game, we're led to believe that he gained his powers from Kronika, which is ass. You know, it was ass. So again, like, anyone can defend the game and they're free to like the game, but to pretend that it's not woke just because they like it is, listen, if something's woke and you enjoy it, by all means enjoy it. If you like it, you like it. But wokeness doesn't depend on whether you like it or not. It's an ideology shoved into the game.
Pretty much, yeah.
You know? So
I'm refreshing Twitter in case anyone, because if anyone has anything they want to say or join the stream, you can reach me through there. It's the same name, Revenant Remnant. So you don't have to follow me or anything like that.
Not
So
a big Ubisoft fan.
get a link
I
to the
only
stream.
like Far Cry 3, in my opinion.
yeah, I mean, the only games I really like,
I tried Far Cry 3. I couldn't get into it.
the only games I really enjoyed from them were the Splinter Cell games, really, and then Rayman back in the day. We're talking like older Ubisoft.
One of my favorite Rayman games from that time is Rayman Arena.
Okay, I never played that one. That sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's basically where you play Rayman and his friends and enemies. Most, if not all of them, are from Rayman 2, The Great Escape. And some of them are made specifically for it. You know, Razorbeard has a wife. Leva Fairy has either a niece or younger sister named Tilly. And there's a henchman 1000 who looks more like a Spaniard rather than the 800 Robo-Pirate.
Mm.
And they even had their own theme songs.
Can he be a Spanish 800-year-old Robo-Pirate?
They even have their own theme songs if they're at first place during the racing scenes.
That's kind of cool, actually. That's pretty sick.
Rayman is like, like a banjo, and Razorbeard is like creepy electronics, and Glowbox is like trumpets, and Henchman 800 is rock music.
Oh, let me just address that comment actually that was pinned on screen. Gamer Wody said, "I honestly do not trust any of these YouTubers who defend the unfinished broken games because they're buddies with the developers." Yeah, I agree. Like, how can you get an unbiased review when they're jumping out of their tits because they got to go to see an early build of the game, or because the developers are shouting them out? Of course, they're biased, right? Like, And actually, in a byproduct of this is where we have like developers reaching out to YouTubers to do voices. Like we have like Young Yeah voicing Kiryu, which is awful. And actually, it's a good point because I was talking about Revenant about this the other day. I think Richard Epcar would be a really good Kiryu as opposed to Young Yeah. He would have been great. He's Bato and
from Ghost in the Shell,
yeah. He would have been great.
Anime.
So yeah, he's pretty prolific. So it's kind of funny how it ties together that way, because who the hell asked for Young Yeah to be Kiryu? And that's just a decision made because they want to his fan base to transfer over to being Yakuza fans, So
when I was subscribed to him like years ago, he made no mention of Yakuza, so
he's
probably just trying to get a role in fucking Metal Gear or some shit. Or Kojima.
Future Mermac. I am very, 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 very worried about Max Payne 1 and 2 because those games are politically incorrect as hell, and they're badasses as hell. And I feel like Remedy, because Revenant, it's Remedy that are gonna actually do the remakes, right?
Yeah, and
so and considering what we saw from Control and Alan Wake, I have no doubt in my mind that game's gonna be like censored, have content changed. Mona Sachs is gonna be like a different character entirely.
She gotta have a flat chest.
If you played Max Payne 2, there's no way in hell that woke Remedy is not gonna change.
She gonna look like Mary Jane with that jaw.
She gonna look like you guys remember Android 7 Super 17 from Dragon Ball GT? He had a small ass face with a giant head. That's basically Mary Jane. That's current Mary Jane.
She could have the what's that shit? The shaved head and sides, like the Saints Row reboot chick.
My nephew Corey admits that MJ's design for the recent Insomniac game is hideous.
Dude, what the hell? You know you guys know who Rocky Dennis is?
Nope.
Rocky Dennis?
Yeah.
No, I never. Is that a real person?
It just look. You know what? After the stream, just look it up and then think about Mary Jane, and you guys are both gonna laugh. I think you guys will both laugh. Young Yes, Kojima's simp. I'm not surprised. I mean, wasn't he complaining about how he felt attacked? He felt attacked and threatened under Trump's presidency. He feared for his life every day.
He feared for his life as a was it Asian American or some shit?
Yeah,
whatever.
What the hell, man? Honestly, like no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, that was so cringy that he even went that route.
Don't robots have no feelings? So what's he talking about? He feels nothing. So anyway, are we still talking about Mortal Kombat?
No, I just wanted to make
I was hearing you talking about, so I figured we moved on to Mortal Kombat.
I just talked about it a bit because I was explaining why like people say it's not woke, and like you could like the game, but it's definitely woke. It definitely has feminism, third wave feminism, and all kinds of shit. Like I was explaining how Tanya tries to kill them. Johnny Cage calls her a bitch, and then Kung Lao's looking at him like, "Oh, how dare you say that about the woman who was ready to brutally murder us?" Like, what the hell is going on, man? And NetherRealm NetherRealm got their priorities messed up. It's okay for me to rip women in half, rip skin off their bodies, but God forbid they show any kind of like feminine or like sexual energy or whatever. You know, it's so dumb. It's so fake. It's cheap virtue signaling. Ed Boon's a Hollywood cuck.
Yeah,
you know,
it's not realistic. Didn't they literally say that they were ashamed of it or some shit like that?
Yeah. See, Greater Ninja knows who Rocky Dennis is. He knows who that is.
Oh, he knows.
MK9 had more appealing women.
Yeah. And like, look, the thing is, right? Like, they don't have to be like fully sexualized or anything. But come on, don't make them ugly. Like, you don't have to make like what an overcorrection. You went from them being half naked, which honestly I don't think there's anything wrong with. Excuse my language, but anyone who complains about that, I'm sorry, is a bitch. Excuse my language, but they're a little bitch. It should not bother you.
Beta male or feminist?
It's like, it reminds me of like, yeah.
Beta male or feminist?
You ever heard that meme? She won't sleep with you, bro. Like, she's not gonna sleep with you, bro. Yeah. Like, come on, man. Like, it's fiction. It's fiction. And you know what? People are in denial of what they really like. All those leftists with the blue hair, all those guys. But all those people that complain about these games, especially some of the big YouTubers that do it, the big leftist ones, they will jump out of their skin if a woman that looked like an MK9 character approached them or wanted to sleep with them. They're full of shit. They're lying to themselves. They're lying to everyone else. They're pretending that they don't like sexy women to look good on the internet for people that don't care about them. So I don't respect them. And I think that anyone who complains about it is really a bitch. And honestly, most women that are real gamers don't even have a problem with it. I've never met a female in real life. The female gamer friends that I've had, none of them have ever once complained. In fact, they always gravitated to those characters because guess what? Most women, when they see a strong female character that's also attractive, it inspires them.
Like
it's inspiring.
Boom, because she must be pumped that Tomb Raider original 1 through 3 is coming out again.
Yeah, she went crazy on Twitter. Yeah. I saw she was going crazy about that. And you know, she ain't wrong.
Yeah, looks pretty accurate.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So, like I said, man, like honestly, there's just so many disingenuous arguments from people regarding women in games. And like, it's just a denial of reality, right? Like men generally want to play as strong characters too. They want to play as these beefed up heroic characters usually because that's part of the fantasy of it. And lying to ourselves and pretending that we don't like these things is not good. It's not a good thing. It's just basically a very complex, large scale virtue signal for nothing.
Crestfallen Jaime says, when I see you guys in big games, it doesn't bug me. Now, if he starts doing bear stuff, oh no, the Forbidden Evil Concarne episode.
The lost episode.
Concarne.
The man in the mountain says woke women stop objectifying us. Meanwhile, basically they have an OnlyFans. Yeah, it's true. It's like it's nonsense. Look at
Right.
the She-Hulk. Remember the She-Hulk Abomination show that they had, where
Ugh.
they had She-Hulk doing all this feminist shit. Meanwhile, she's sleeping around like a whore and then twerking with Megan Thee Stallion. I'm like, yeah, wow, that makes sense. Don't
like
Interestingly
confused
enough,
morality.
the writer of that show also wrote episodes of Nickelodeon's The Mighty Bee.
Ah, okay. See, I didn't know that, and I actually remember that show being not that bad from what I remember. But then again, that was a while back.
Well, Ang Lee's Hulk is better than the MCU She-Hulk.
Oh, Future Mermac made a good point. He said, "What do you all?" He had a good question. What do y'all think of the "Everything Is Woke" video by Dead Domain? And I just want to actually I'm gonna answer that question with saying what I think about the game, about that topic in general, right?
What's Dead Domain?
I don't know who this is. I didn't see that video, but if we're gonna talk about everything is woke, let's go there, right? Let's say all these mainstream companies, which they're already doing, put wokeness in every game, in every single game that comes out, every movie that comes out, they interject woke politics, right? You have two options. You could say, well, all right, I give up. Everything is woke, so I'm not gonna stop consuming, so I guess it's okay, and then you let them win, right? Because that means that as long as they make content that you enjoy, then they can shove whatever politics they want down your throat. Now, obviously, I can't tell anyone what to do. As you know, everyone has to do what they would like to do and play what they like to play. You know, I'm not a Nazi. I can't force anybody to do anything. But in the end of the day, it's like you have to draw the line to say, am I willing to miss out, or is my fear of missing out greater than things that I like and don't like, or my morality or whatever? So if everything goes woke, then if you're going to consume it anyway, then they win. Like I said, they can just put anything out. And as long as it's a series that you like, then you're going to play ball with it and you're going to accept it. And if that's the case, then really, what do we really stand on? What ground do we actually stand on what we believe in? Which is why I don't buy a lot of those games. I refuse to buy them. I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan. I didn't buy Mortal Kombat 1.
I was a big Fable fan. Then I see that reboot. And then once she turned around, I was like, no, I can't.
I actually
I told you, on the positive side, at least the original 3 games were on sale.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
Lords of the Fallen. Revenant knows I went crazy. Remember when that game came out? I was hyping it up. He probably wanted to slap me because I kept hyping it up. And then this game came out. It has body type A and B. It might be minor, but I'm willing to miss out on it. I don't need to play that game. You know, I get it. You know, it's a hobby that I enjoy, but I'm willing to just not play it. I'm willing to say, hey, I don't like body type A and B. Fuck this game. Fuck the developers. They're not getting my money. If I do play it, I'll play it for dirt cheap, used. You get 0% of my money. And even then I might not do it because I don't want to give them engagement on the database.
Crystal X, it's no use. Get it? Silver said, did you guys hear about South Park?
Oh,
the was so funny.
Well, yeah. People losing their minds over it, but it's good. It's good. We need more of that. Got all these companies just got to say, "Fuck you." We're gonna do what we want to do. We're not gonna stifle our creativity because everyone wants to act like bitches online, complain about shit that they don't even watch or even consume themselves. They want everything to cater to them when they are the minority. They're just a vocal minority that want everything to be their way, because once they log off the internet, they're just a regular person in real life where people don't give a fuck what they say.
Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they're geniuses.
You know, Solo made a good point in one of the comments. He said, I don't know if they do this. I don't know if they do, but hold on. I don't know if they do, but these chicks that get modeled and made to look worse in the game should feel disrespected for that crap. Yeah, I agree. Like Horizon 2. Remember Horizon Forbidden West? They took that beautiful Asian woman and made her look like a freaking blobular.
Large ass face. Like,
I was gonna say something crazier, but let's just say she looks like a very blobular, heavily masculinized lesbian. I was gonna say another word, but I think you know what that word was.
Yeah.
And yeah, like what the hell? How you take that model and you say, you know what, this is okay. You add 100 pounds just to her head. You have her stuff her mouth like a squirrel. Like, it's crazy. Aloy as well. Aloy was destroyed.
Cement bag face. That's basically all of them. They all look like they got cement bags for faces, and it's weird. It's almost like the reverse with Yakuza games, where like you'll see someone like in Yakuza 0 Kuze, he looks all old and shit, like all like saggy face and all that. Then he takes off the top of his suit, and he's like jacked and shit, like a 20-year-old man.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
now it's like the reverse. You got Aloy, this big ass head and face, and then the rest of her body is like skinny. It makes no sense. Anyone go for realism, talk about look at the pores in her skin and all sort of shit. But then it's like, why is her head like that? The rest of her body is like that. And why does almost all the characters, really the females, have the same shaped face? When we know if they scan their models, which they usually do, we know that they don't look like that.
You know what she looks like?
If anyone, they can go online and look up Devil May Cry 5, the face actors, faces, or even Death Stranding.
Devil May Cry 5 is great.
It is great. I love that game.
It is. We need more games like that.
Really. You know what's funny?
Look at that and you'll see the comparison.
Aloy looks like they took her face texture from the model and put it on the Pillsbury Doughboy. That's what it looks like to me.
Or the Pillsbury Homeboy. What's muffin bacon name?
They put Majin Buu's head on Aloy's body, basically.
Funny enough, the Pillsbury Homeboy was created by the voice of Majin Buu, Josh Martin.
Hey, there you go. That's those higher level, higher consciousness connections. But I wanted to say, I saw the South Park thing into the Pandaverse where they had into South Park they had all of them were like women and whatever. I'm glad South Park makes fun of everybody because it's kind of like a saving grace. Yeah.
No, they are. They mean like it's funny because you would figure like, all right, Family Guy, Simpsons, all of them would just say, you know, fuck you, we're gonna do what we want to do because you're gonna be offended by something anyway.
You know what's funny though? I want to say because Solo, you were talking about Yakuza. At least with Yakuza, when they have the diesel bodies underneath, it's for like epic reasons. It's like hilarious. Like you think he's this old guy, he pulls off his suit, he's like this jacked bodybuilder, and it's kind of like epic in anime. Like, and it's the opposite when they do what they did with Aloy, where you got this fat head on this beefy. Even the body's kind of beefy. Just because it hurts women's feelings that some other women look better than them or have curves or whatever. Like, I think that's hilarious that one is done because they're bitches and the other one is done to be badass, and they're total opposites. So I just wanted to make that point.
Was that guy who wanted to debate? Is he still here?
I think he may have left. I don't know. But you know,
I legit forgot his name. So if you're still here, just let me know. You can join if you want, because if you comment, then we can get into Mortal Kombat. If not,
I am Dr. Robotnik, and those who call out corporate lackeys deserve themselves a promotion.
Bringus.
So, but in the meantime, we can get into Mary Jane and Spider-Man.
Yeah, let's move on. And again, like I said, to Heartless Layuse.
That's the name? Okay,
Heartless Yuze. Yeah. Like I said, man, this is an open debate. If you feel strongly about it, you should be able to talk about it and defend your points. Again, no one's going to gang up on you. We're going to give you your time to speak, and we're just going to civilly discuss it. Revenant will civilly discuss everything as well. So,
yeah, no problem.
If you want to join.
Yeah.
So and again, the 1v1 thing, I get it, but me and Revenant have both basically been in all the Mortal Kombat videos together. So
and I don't know if anyone's gonna really
and
care to see a debate
Corey,
between me and someone that maybe they don't know, or I don't know.
My nephew Corey can tell good quality. He likes Star Wars but detests whatever Disney makes.
Yeah, well, Disney has destroyed Star Wars, man.
Yeah,
they've ruined it.
He only prefers the originals and the prequels.
Yeah, that's the only ones I really support as well, because despite what you say about the prequels, at least that they felt like Star Wars movies, despite being, you know, either hit or miss with whoever watches them. But the last movies just felt like a propaganda piece.
That's true.
So, and honestly, I kind of liked it for lore reasons, because I know this is kind of my headcanon, right? And sorry if I'm going off on Star Wars, because I actually liked Star Wars a lot.
That's cool.
Going off my headcanon, I always assumed that Luke fought the way he did with the lightsaber because he was trained by Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Darth Vader, who were all crippled and old, basically. So he fought at a much slower pace. But with the prequels, we got to see the Jedis in their prime trained by like an order of like iron sharpening iron, trained together like in their prime. So I kind of always like the duality of the prequels, where it shows what the Jedi were capable of without being restricted by lost knowledge and things like that. I mean, that's headcanon, but
yeah, Genndy Tartakovsky made an awesome Clone Wars miniseries.
Yeah. I liked Clone Wars. Clone Wars was kind of cool. I didn't like how they brought back Darth Maul, because I felt like that was a very like egregious ass pull.
He wasn't even though in Gendy's one.
I actually wanted to get the series on DVD or Blu-ray, but the price is crazy, so it's not worth it.
Yeah, I like the show. I just the one thing I didn't like was in the 3D modeled Clone Wars that we got, I just didn't like that Darth Maul came back, because I just felt like it was cheap. That was like the one thing for me that I was like, all right, this is kind of cheap. It's kind of an ass pull. Like, let's bring back a popular character. He's like, all right, he survived being cut in half and thrown down a endless chasm.
Yeah.
You know.
Anyways, what we talk about? Oh yeah. MJ's Butterface.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mary Jane, the pound cake. The pound cake herself.
So we got this hard-faced bitch in Spider-Man 2. I mean, we basically had her in the first one, where she had like the puffy face, the fat nose, and all that. You know, her hair is tied up, of course.
She has a boxer's nose, bro. Like, I've trained, like I said, I trained MMA, and like she has like a nose like it's been like punched in. Like, you ever seen like a boxer's flattened nose? That's kind of like how Mary Jane's does it.
Balboa.
Yeah, like because like when you spar a lot, sometimes your cartilage in your nose gets just wrecked, and it doesn't always bend. You don't always have like a crooked nose. Sometimes it'll flatten, and you end up with like a weird like pug nose.
Like
that's kind of
pushed in.
Yeah, like, you know, Felice Herrig, she was a female fighter. She kind of had that like kind of boxer's nose. I don't know why they did that to Mary Jane. I thought she was boxing, you know, she was boxing on these streets, and, you know, it's just for us to know like how tough she is or whatever. I'm joking, obviously.
Here's an interesting Mary Jane Watson fact. In the film The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Shailene Woodley would have played MJ, but sadly, her scenes were cut.
Yeah. I mean, Amazing Spider-Man, it was all right. It was pretty good. The first one was good.
Well,
you're talking about the game, right?
She got paid.
I'm talking about the movie.
Oh yeah, no, I like that movie. It was good.
I liked them for what they were, but I'm not gonna lie, there were things I wasn't feeling either. You know, like what they did with Electro, and also like the way they handled Green Goblin was awful, terrible. But what I thought was really good was the stylization and cinematography. I thought that was like probably the best out of all the movies. To be honest.
that was definitely good. Yeah,
like the web swinging.
Garfield. He was well cast as Spider-Man.
He was well cast. He actually, you know what's funny? He really looked. He had like the hairstyle, like the face shape, the build. He really looked like what I imagined what live action Peter should look like. And even though I like the Tobey Maguire movies more,
you mean
overall,
Sam Raimi?
Yeah, well, yeah, Sam Raimi. I just call him either way, but. The ones with Tobey's the Sam Raimi films, they're like more like they have more of that Spider-Man like quality to them. While Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man felt a little bit too much on the darker, edgy side. So I'm sure there was.
It's closer to James Cameron's.
Not very
script.
nerdy.
Yeah, like he went like I like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man reminded me more of like what Spider-Man should be, but Andrew Garfield, like the visuals and aesthetics and the way he would move were more like how I would imagine Spider-Man to look, you know. So the Garfield movies he had the look, but the Raimi movies had the heart, in my opinion. That's how I always looked at them.
Yeah, I agree. I actually agree with that. So now with
MJ,
Mary Jane and her face, we've already seen what her the face model looks like, which of course doesn't look like doesn't look like the character model in the game. Go figure, because that's usually how this ends up going. And
They made her the
even
Crimson
voice
Shin.
actor, yeah, basically, yeah. And even her voice actor, Laura Bailey, doesn't look like how she does in the game. And people may make the excuse that it's certain angles that she's in, but all the trailers, she looks like that. And even the images that were shown, I think the one we're more so referring to is from
Yeah.
a yearbook or some shit. But if there's been pictures floating around of other characters in there, like Harry and Norman and all them, so it's weird because like the graphics look really good and very detailed, but it's like the way the models look, it almost like downgrades it in a way. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like it's a shame because you have the technology to make like these painstakingly detailed characters, photorealistic and all that, but then it's like you make them look so bland and boring and ugly because all of them, that's what it is. They don't.
They're in the same
it's based
uncanny
on a
valley
superhero.
as the Scorpion King from The Mummy Returns.
Oh man, don't you mentioned that really? I forgot about that abomination. But yeah, like the uncanny valley is crazy. OG Loke said Spider-Man 2000 for PS1 is my favorite game. That game was amazing. I love that game.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so it's kind of like one of those lies that they say. They'll be like, hey, we had to make these changes because the voice actresses her facial animations don't match with the character or whatever, but it's bullshit. It's like, do we really have to pretend like it's not a bullshit reason? Because again, you have all this technology. So many games have come out and they did not have this issue before. And all of a sudden, wokeness ramps up in media, and now they're doing this thing where all of a sudden they have to be ugly to match the characters.
Yeah, because like, all right, now realism is the reason, but realism now is making it boring.
And honestly,
the only time that uglyism can actually work is if, like for certain characters, like Devora, because we get it, she's a bug.
Yeah, we're not supposed to. We're supposed to be disgusted by Devora. Devora's supposed to be disgusting,
exactly.
But not MJ of all people.
And you know what's weird? People talk about MJ how like, oh, she's a real person, but canonically, Mary Jane was a model in the comics. She was legitimately a supermodel.
That's
and
why, like, when she gets with Peter, it's like he's like out of her league.
That's the whole point.
Wanted her like Spike.
But the whole point is that Peter is such a good dude with a good heart that he got MJ because she saw how much he cared about her. That was the whole point. He got a woman that was way out of his like league visually because of how great of a person he is. And that's like a really cool thing. And then now the Mary Jane we have now is a vapid feminist who makes dumbass decisions that puts other people's lives in danger. And if you don't know what I'm talking about in Spider-Man PS4, where she tells Peter, if you sneak in there, they'll kill the hostages. So let me sneak in, even though I don't have powers. And if they see me, everyone dies, including me. Like, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Who's going to be better at stealth? The superhero who can crawl on walls, move fast as hell, and move silently with advanced fighting abilities and gadgets, or the feminist reporter who has to hide behind freaking cubicles and hope that they don't see her because then everyone else will be killed.
I honestly thought that those stealth missions were unnecessary.
I agree.
They really were.
But
they
I
dragged
mean,
the game down. That was like one of the worst parts of it.
Stylized graphics instead of realism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You hit the nail.
Ultimate Spider-Man 2005, it had cell-shaded graphics.
That game was really cool. Hell yeah.
Even now, it still looks good.
And even then, like I said, realism is not an excuse because that is almost to say that in real life there are no beautiful women, apparently, because every time they try to quote unquote approach realism, everyone looks like a mongoloid straight out of the fucking Mongolian army, gets battered every day and gains 300 pounds. Like, I don't understand.
If we talk about this, then you'll have people be like, oh, touch grass, go outside, y'all need to get some air or some shit. It's like, you go outside for an hour, just walk around, just walk in a straight line, unless you're walking to a highway. But walk in a straight line, you'll go past a bunch of women, and they'll look 10 times better than most of these women that they're shoving in games and other media.
I see women every day when I go to the gym, and these are like average women, and they look better than what we're getting in games now. Like it's such a it's just a lie. It's just
It's disingenuous because it's not true.
it's a lie by certain groups of people because of their own insecurities, and meanwhile they're just playing ball to larger organizations that have much more nefarious plans in mind. But again, like I said, like even on what Christian said, which I agree with, is that the Mary Jane parts were unnecessary, the stealth parts in general, but at least make them make sense. Like what reason would, in that scene that I explained, Christian and Revenant, what reason would there be for Peter not to go in there? And then ultimately he ended up having
no different than most of the places he was going in the game anyway.
And then he ended up having to sneak in there anyway to save everyone.
Yes.
To save MJ, everyone, including the hostages.
Yeah.
So to me, it makes no sense. It's just dumb. It's just dumb writing it's that dumb ass pull from writers who want to push a feminist agenda because Mary Jane, God forbid, has her boyfriend save her. God forbid she has a moment where she's a damsel, quote unquote, in distress. But remember that people always think that like, oh, a damsel in distress is a bad character, but you have to understand that they have a purpose. They
Like
support like Lois Lane, where she humanizes Superman. She gives him a direct person that he can humanize with and say, all right, this is a person that I love. She represents humanity in a way to Superman.
It matters because the superheroes usually have something that, I mean, they have superpowers, so they're not like normal people. So the damsels or other supporting characters kind of humanizes them and grounds them a bit.
And we also
like the Hulk's case with Betty Ross.
With Betty Ross, exactly.
Yeah,
and we also forget about Mary Jane, because this is how I know these motherfuckers never read comics in their life. Because if they did, they would know that there were so many struggles that Peter Parker went through that Mary Jane was his support system. You get what I'm saying? Like, why does a female character have to be a combatant just for these feminists and these Twitter activists to feel like they have value? And again, if we're talking about realism, again, what can Mary Jane do in a stealth situation that Spider-Man couldn't do? You get what I'm saying? So we have to stop. In my opinion, again, I'm just some guy on YouTube. Nobody's gonna fucking listen to me. But in my opinion, we have to like look at what our strengths and weaknesses are as a society, as male and female, and accept them. And yeah, an outlier here and there is fine, but we should be more honest about how we approach it instead of trying to bullshit because it hurts some Twitter basement dwelling feminist feelings that Mary Jane had to be saved by Spider-Man. You get what I'm saying? What I'm saying with that?
Yeah.
So
no, sure. So I mean, the game may be good. I'm sure it will be for the most part, but the characters looking the way they do, and I think one of the developers themselves are like against like cops and shit. So I think they want to like put some type of message in there. I'm sure they will, because they wanted. There was something about Insomniac celebrating Latinx or some shit. They actually edited the post, but you can actually see the original unedited text on there.
I'm not buying Bungie's virtue signaling.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
And, let me address some of these comments. OG Loke is like, Taki got a fat ass, not gonna lie. I'm like, yeah, she was bae. Bring back Taki. We need more Taki in games. Whip Me Ivy. Yeah, Ivy was good too.
Whip Me Ivy.
I remember Ivy from Soul Calibur too.
Yeah.
So
that's the game with Spawn, Link, and Heihachi.
Yes, Heihachi.
And Necrid.
And Necrid.
From Todd McFarlane.
But you know, like, and also I hate that. You know, you mentioned it before, and I didn't want to like address it then because you were still talking. That argument of touch grass has to go away. It has to. You know how dumb it is to tell somebody to touch grass while you yourself are on the internet leaving a comment. Like, you're on the internet writing this, and you're telling someone else to touch grass.
I'm actually doing this while I'm doing something else. I'm like, okay, that doesn't mean I'm not. Or anyone else
and it's like, yeah, like I do other things while using Twitter. I don't use Twitter. It's like, yeah, well, guess what? The other person might too. You don't know. The truth is, you don't actually know what they're doing while they type on Twitter, right? Like, they can write a comment
while they respond immediately.
Hell, how many times I'm in the gym and then you send me a text message or something and I'm like working out and I stop and I'm like, all right, let me respond to this. So when people say touch grass, I'm like, that's one of the most dumb arguments one of the most dumb things you can say. Like, it's so stupid. It's such a projection, right? Like, think about it. You can say, oh, well, you're on Twitter posting this. You're offended posting this. Yeah, you're offended commenting on it on Twitter. So again, like, if you're going to tell other people to touch grass, you have to look in the mirror and say, you need to touch grass too. If you're on social media and you're writing a message on social media, shut the fuck up. That's not a good argument. It's a terrible insult.
Christopher Jaime says, I remember when BioWare had to update Mass Effect Andromeda. Don't get me started on that. To make a straight guy gay.
Yeah, I would like a Zelda with that.
I consider
that
that
would like the
game
tech demo as
bad
well.
fan fiction.
Mass Effect Andromeda it's non-canon.
It never happened.
Yeah.
That's why I said bad fan fiction.
Yeah, Mass Effect. Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. And even the remasters of the game, the remakes, well, remasters, I don't count.
Yeah,
they're not canon. If those camera angles aren't there, they're not canon.
And who knows what else they did. So.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like the point of like the games where now, like with Spider-Man, like who knows what they gotta censor, what they gotta change just to appease a certain group of people, when people just want a fun game where you're playing as a superhero that everyone, for the most part, they love, they enjoy, they're invested in, because they want to see like this take on Spider-Man, the story continue from the previous game, and they want to see how these characters are, how they're going to be implemented in the story and all that. And when you have these bland designs, it's like, why would you do that when it's based on a comic book character? It's supposed to be stylized. Obviously, it's not going to be like cell shaded or looking like fucking Nier Automata or some shit like that. But just because you have detailed graphics and you're scanning the faces and all that doesn't mean that you have to go out of your way. That's what they do. Go out of your way to make them look ugly, to not hurt certain people's feelings, and make people, maybe people in the development team feel better about themselves. Just add some style to it.
Hey, you know how they do that? You know how they do that? Because look at what they did to Megan Fox in Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
They took her face and they butchered it in her character model. I'm not going to go back on that subject, but that's an example of like, all right, you take this woman who's like known for her looks, and then within the game, she somehow gains 20 pounds in her face. So, but as far as like Spider-Man goes, like, again, like you said, it's escapism, and it's just like we can't have nice things. There's too many people that are mentally affected by the way video game characters look. They can't be attractive. They can't be, they can't be stylized. They can't be, they can't be what is possible with at the, what's the word, like the upper end of what a woman could be genetically, right? Like why can't they look like athletes, right? Like look at Black Cat. Black Cat is basically a gymnast. So of course she should be built like a gymnast, right? Why should she look like, why should you dough her up or make her look average when she's doing above average things? So, and as far as Peter goes, like what they did to his face was just a cheap way to make him look like Tom Holland, obviously. I mean,
that was unnecessary too.
It was unnecessary. And the older actor, he kind of looked more like what I would expect Peter to look than what his second face actor did,
And his first face actor kind of looked like Yuri Lowenthal. Kind of. And yeah, he had that kind of like, how Spider-Man looked in like the 90s and 80s. He had like that kind of like hairstyle and like the facial features. So he kind of gave me that vibe. And then with, like I said, it just changed him to look like a knockoff Tom Holland. And in my opinion, Tom Holland doesn't even, to me, Tom Holland is like, he doesn't look shit like Spider-Man to me. Like, yeah, he's a decent actor, whatever, but and he pulls off the voice in the suit fine for like a young Peter. But if we're looking at like his face, he doesn't really like register to me as Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm. Which, it's funny because they can go out of the way and change his face, make him look younger. Like almost, he's a completely different guy now.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't do that with MJ.
Yeah, you meant Aunt May.
So they can't do it with
she legit looks like she would be his aunt. Like she really looks like his like aunt or like mom or this mom even.
Come on, like she ain't no model. She don't look like a model there. She don't like no bombshell that people gotta be like turning around. It's like that meme where the guy's like turning around and see the other girl. That's what MJ should be, but in this game, she's not. Why would they go out of the way and do that? What's the excuse?
I made a Lobo video where Lobo faces off, instead of the NBA zombies like in the web cartoon, he faces off the uglification process.
Uglification.
Oh yeah, I saw that video. Yeah, that was pretty funny. He needs to get rid of more. He needs to get rid of more characters.
Yeah, definitely. Got to add to that list. He got to add to that list. You know what I'm saying? But so yeah, any other subjects you want to talk about?
Well, yeah.
Listen, man, I've been having brain fog sometimes, you know. Oh wait, I wanted to say one thing too. Yeah, you mentioned Latinx.
Yeah, that's what Insomniac put that out. They edited where they changed it to Latinos.
I'm a Hispanic.
Portuguese descent, so I'm not sure if they Latinx.
Yeah.
I'm Hispanic too, and I guarantee I'm telling you, nobody that I've ever spoke to in my entire life, you know, plus years of being a Latino person, I've never heard anyone ever use the word Latinx that I actually know. And I'm glad that that's generally rejected. Basically rejected.
So
like
Latinx, like what the fuck?
We're gonna have a gender neutral Latin term because like the word Latino.
Why add to this lunacy?
because Latino's a bad term. Like Latina doesn't exist. It's
offensive.
Like it's
what was that thing they were mad? It was negro.
Yeah, well, negro just means black in Spanish.
Yeah, they were like, oh, I'm bothered by that, some shit. It's like these people are fucking dumb. And they swear they're fucking educated and shit. Oh, educate yourself or whatever. Then you want to fucking ban and censor shit that's been around for years, and that if you actually stop and think and educate yourself, you'll know why it's there. You want to change language and shit.
Well, and also like words evolve from other words, right? So, you know, the word negro in Spanish means black, but obviously that has a Latin tie to a different word that probably is roughly similar to the word negro, which then goes to like, you know, obviously the word negro or whatever. Yeah. And then like, and I get why a person without knowing like the history of these words would be like, oh, that's offensive. But like being offended because the word negro is just really just ignorance until that person knows what the word actually means and where it comes from.
Yeah.
You know, so like I said, it's just, you know, all of it in the end is just disingenuous games to control language, to like, you know, throw out buzzwords. Like that's really all it is. It's really just a game between ideological enemies.
Yeah, that's it. They just want to force their ideological thoughts and beliefs on everything. Find some way to put it there, whether if it's like in your face or you gotta kind of go out your way to find it. A lot of times they try to do it where you'll miss it. But then when you point it out, you know, people like make a big deal, like, yo, what does it matter or whatever? Well, they put it there. That's why. If it didn't matter, then why is it even there?
Yeah,
why Spider-Man 2 have the exact same thing? It's going to have a bunch of subliminal shit in there that no one asked for. They try to appease certain people like the journalists, the activists that pretend they're gamers and into this shit. They're only into it when they start seeing that goofy shit that they like the pronouns and you know the usual shit. Like they probably are having a time of their lives looking at MJ right now.
Well, they're not that into it when they actually have to play the game and they realize it's not baby. Right. It's made on baby mode for them.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the game is bad. They can add all that pandering. If the game's too hard, they'll still complain. I don't even know anybody who really listens to journalists listens to them in earnest. Most of the time when people listen to journalists, to me, whenever I hear it, it's just to make fun of them for a bad take or to just like disagree with them. I've never like really heard anyone say, I've never heard anyone that I personally know say, Kotaku said this game is great, so I'm hyped to buy it or whatever. Like, you know, it's just one of those things that has been around for like they've been around for a while, long enough now where they exist and they're gonna be phased out. They're already being phased out by YouTubers. People would rather listen to people like you or me or other channels to get an idea of whether or not their opinion on the game or like a review of it as opposed to IGN. No one cares what they think. No one cares what they think because they're a bunch of fake gamers. They want to be social activists. They clickbait for views, right? Because also all of the
that's why G4 relaunched it at
because they're putting out these from the wrong people. They have these headlines like, why you should be mad about Cammy's original alpha being it's just for clicks. It's just for clicks. And they know it's for clicks, and they play on that what's it called, negativity, like the conflict or whatever to get you to view their article or watch their video or whatever, right?
Like basically
So
clickbait.
it's just clickbait. So of course, like people don't care what they think because I'm thinking like Street Fighter 6. I want to know what the game is like and why it's good or bad, and I don't want to just hear from some walking simulator game player, like a person who plays only those games. I want to hear from a fighting game player who loves Street Fighter to tell me how the gameplay is. And then again,
why annoy me about when they would review like Japanese games and they're like, oh, this is offensive. This will make a Dead or Alive player embarrassed.
I'm looking forward for Tekken 8.
Oh yeah, me too.
Oh yeah. Jinpachi just actually showed me today the
costumes,
and the costumes,
So
since
but I
Tekken
think it was
had a
pretty
bear,
outdated.
I made an Evil Con Carne meme basically. Since what if Evil Con Carne was set in the Tekken universe? So I switched all of Hector's dialogue with Spanish, to make it consistent like in the games.
Let me actually respond to a comment real quick. The man of the mountain said Hispanic here, Spaniard. Yeah, the words issue in the US is baffling to me. And you know what's funny? For the Spanish speakers, you would understand that if you tried to put pronoun politics into Spanish dialogue, like Latin, his literally into Spanish, it doesn't work because Spanish is heavily reliant on male and female pronouns. And you can actually entirely change sentences depending on like how you use those male and female pronouns within sentences. So it's actually even worse in Spanish than it is in English. So I just want to point that out.
Basically fucks things up because it doesn't work. That adds on to why it's even more like retarded to even like try to make that the norm.
OG Loke, you're right.
You can't even apply it to everything.
OG Loke is right. Cammy sexy AF. I like her thighs.
I know he's right. That's why I highlight the comment.
he ain't wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look, if I want to watch, like, if I want to know about Tekken 8, I'm gonna watch a hardcore Tekken player talk about the gameplay. I'd rather watch him than IGN because IGN is gonna have some RPG player review Tekken 8, and they're gonna be complaining about like, oh, the water is too blue and the sky is too bright. So this game is unplayable for me. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Can you, what is wave dashing in the game? Can I combo? Or, how is punishment? Is the game learning curve easier or worse? It's like, they don't even address half these things. They just complain about arbitrary shit and then pass off the review.
Yeah, and then they try to justify it by telling other people like, oh, you should feel the same way as we do. It's like, no, we're not the same people.
Yeah.
And watch that happen with, Spider-Man. They're gonna see the same thing. They're gonna complain about other shit. They're gonna praise the, well, we know what they're gonna praise, and it's just gonna be more the same. It's gonna be another. I hate to say it's gonna be another, Western PlayStation exclusive with propaganda sprinkled in.
DLC for Tekken 8.
Who?
What was that? I'm sorry.
The kangaroo.
Roger.
There you go.
Roger Jr.
Yeah.
At this point, I believe he's now grown up.
Yeah. I mean, if they bring him back, they got to bring back Alex as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you know what else?
Make a Kangaroo Jack mod if that happens.
I mean, he probably would.
Kazuya has $50,000.
You know what's funny though? You can actually, I think in Tekken Tag 2, you can actually customize them to look like Kangaroo Jack.
Oh, they got the sweater and everything.
Yeah, I think they have like, yeah.
I think they knew. Yeah.
So, but yeah, to be honest, speaking of Tekken 8, like this is just a side thing. I'm hoping that they add more characters into the base game because it hasn't been released yet. Because there's a few people missing.
Says, I'm Hispanic white, so Latink's cringe is frag to me. LOL. I agree.
Yeah, I'm part Hispanic, part white, so it's definitely cringe. It's stupid.
It's bullshit. It's just
why is it even a thing? How did it even gain traction in the first place?
Yeah, but yeah, it's dumb. But again, like they have to bring back more characters. I want Lee to come back. I don't want them to be DLC. I hope they add a few more characters to the base game. Because come on, no Lee Chaolan, that's god awful. Come on, he has to be in the game. He's goated. He's swag. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
He's an OG. You gotta bring him back. You know.
Yeah.
I
But,
like
but
Nina Williams. I like playing as her in Tag Tournament too.
Nina Williams is cool. I'm a little annoyed Craig Marduk didn't come back, but considering how overpowered he was in 7, I kind of see why. But I do hope he also returns because he was one of my favorites. Luckily,
they can nerf him by now, maybe.
they could just nerf him, yeah, or make him more balanced. But Kazuya, you know, I'm just worried that Tekken 8 Kazuya will die and then no more Kazuya in Tekken 9, and that's like my main character, my main. So I'm hoping that after this game's life cycle, if he does die, he comes back as like a legacy character or something, because, you know, it's just too badass to get rid of. It'll just be a shame. Like,
Yeah,
I'm sad about Heihachi being gone, even though I know he died. And that was my other main. It was Heihachi, Kazuya, Lee, and Marduk. So,
Yeah.
Get ready
So-
for the next battle. Welcome to the King of Iron Fist Tournament 8. That's my impression.
No, it's pretty good.
Thanks.
oh, I didn't know that. So, I hate how Guilty Gear went too woke, literally removing femboy representation and making Bridget trans and made Testament non-binary.
What?
Yeah, so I can't believe that. I mean,
You know, actually, I heard something about a character being trans, but I don't know if that was confirmed or not.
I hope that's not true.
I guess
I hope
not.
I hope that's not true, because that's retarded. Excuse my
That'd be a
language.
shame. That'd be a shame because it looks pretty good. I haven't played it yet, but from what I've seen, it's pretty good.
It's dumb. I mean, whatever. I mean, like, I don't understand. I just don't understand why Eastern studios are playing ball.
It's ethics department probably.
I just don't get it. I just
Publisher getting involved, and I don't know, because it's like the game is gonna sell anyway. So why even try to like add anything that's gonna allegedly bring in a new audience? Wouldn't you want to keep your core audience? They see a bunch of dumb shit happening in the game, they're gonna end up leaving. That's usually what happens most of the time.
yeah.
I
you can
believe
just- you
that
can just look
if we
at Saints
say
Row, the
we've
reboot,
made
how
it
that
for
turned
a
out.
modern
What they're
audience,
trying to do with
that
it.
means it's bad.
Yeah, that's basically it's telling you our game's gonna be bad, and if you don't buy it, we're gonna call you names on the internet.
But yeah, that's
Yeah,
usually how
but-
it is.
So I feel like those companies should make more stuff that is respectful for the fan base. You know, like Ghostbusters Afterlife, or the Mario movie, or the Sonic movies. Those are great for a lot of reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it usually stays true to what it is,
Yep.
and it's not trying to what's the word, subvert
Alienate
expectations.
you?
That too. Like
Yeah.
they're not trying to alienate the fan base, and also trying to subvert expectations.
Well, you know what they're really doing, and when I say they, let me specify you know, activist groups specifically, or basically Marxists, more or less. They're trying to make as much of they can that's pop culture, have these ideologies thrown in, so that they can weaponize the masses that are like, I guess, like more like they don't really care about this stuff. You can weaponize them against the people that are talking against it, right? Because the average normie is like,
Transformers fight in the back.
I'm sorry.
It looks like you're riding a bike.
No, I'm sitting in a gaming chair, and it's like just the rocking of the gaming chair.
Damn.
So
Anyway, okay. I was wondering, like, is there you riding a motorcycle or something?
Undertaker.
Anyway,
Undertaker. But it's just mainly that the normies, they're gonna just want to play the thing, right? Because they don't care about this stuff. They go to work, they hang out with their family or whatever, and then they're like, oh, I want to see the current movie. What's the next fun game that's gonna come out? And then when they hear people like me and you say, well, this game is pushing this ideology, this has this propaganda, they're like, well, why don't you just shut up? I'm tired from work. I want to play this game. I want to watch this movie. So because I'm hyped for it.
Saying about that with what was it, Starfield or some shit?
Yeah. So
like, oh, I'm a construction worker. I show my friends the video and we were laughing. I'm like, okay, that's good. What does that have to do with me?
So,
right,
Heel
so
versus Babyface, he made a good point.
Huh? What do you say?
Well, like he doesn't like how Bethesda is pushing this ideology that pretty much no one asked for.
Mm-hmm.
but it's because of that reason, right? Because ultimately they just want this stuff to be normalized, and they want, like I said, they weaponize the normies. So now you have like the SJWs plus the normies going after
after the people to speak out against it, because they're basically, as much as I hate to say it, most casual fans, like most casuals, they're highly influenced by like whatever culture is shoved down their throat, right? And like that applies.
That's like the easy, their audience.
And that applies even to me and you, and even Christian, right? Because we like our things that we grew up on, right? Like I love Batman, I love like anime, I love all these things, and they definitely influenced us, whether we want to accept it or not. Yeah, so they influence us, and people don't realize how strong of a cultural pop culture is in controlling the populace and how they think. So again, like if you can get everything to have these ideologies, most people are not going to sacrifice their entertainment for any ideal, whether that's good or bad. That's pretty bad, but that's the reality of it. And if that's the case, then again, it's like what I said earlier. That means that they can shove whatever they want in your face and weaponize those people. And you're seeing that now where like, you know, well, I want my daughter to watch Snow White. So anyone talking against it is just a crybaby. I want my kids to watch the Marvel movie. So anybody who goes against it, they're just hateful, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they don't realize that their enemies are not the people talking against it. It's the people that are pushing that stuff to them, because they're the ones who are trying to manipulate the kids, manipulate their families, manipulate their way of thinking to play ball with the Marxist crap that they want to do. Yeah, you know, so.
Exactly.
So what's the next subject?
I don't think this guy's coming anytime soon. So we can get into Mortal Kombat.
All right. I mean, I basically said what I had to say about it.
Resident Evil 5 Remake?
Oh, yeah. Resident Evil 5 Remake.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we can get into that.
I definitely...
So...
well, I'll let you speak first. Sorry.
I know they were... No, it's right. With the Resident Evil 4 Remake, I believe in the ending of that game, they were hinting towards it. But I know for sure in the Separate Ways DLC with Ada, just fucking terrible Ada, by the way. Anyway, they also hinted it there as well, with him even Wesker saying some lines that were originally in Resident Evil 5.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Clearly, it seems like I don't think they're gonna do that just for them not to do it. So I think the next remake is gonna be Resident Evil 5, which really should have been a remake of Code Veronica. But
yeah, I agree.
For the reason they didn't want to do that. So I don't know how that's going to fit into this new lore of Resident Evil games, because clearly the lore for the original Resident Evil 2 and 3 and now this 4 is different to the original.
Well, here's the thing about Resident Evil 4, because like I remember we had a conversation about this. I don't know if you remember. Obviously, it was like a few days ago. And the thing is that Resident Evil 4 Wesker had a very minor and very what's the word? A very mysterious role, because at least when 4 came out with the Ada DLC, because he was talking about how he wanted to blog us for his own, his own gain and ambitions. And in Code Veronica, we never knew what they were. And it was up until Resident Evil 5 where we realized his plan was using the viruses to wipe everyone out, and only the people that could handle the viruses and be like him, they would be like a new society of like basically gods. So he was basically a eugenist, right? And they added those ideas into the Resident Evil 4 DLC. So they were basically adding Resident Evil 5 concepts into the remake of 4's DLC. So now they're introducing this eugenics themed Wesker. So they're definitely heavily implying that they're going to remake Resident Evil 5, but they shouldn't do it because the game's in Africa, set in Africa. So that's going to lead to all kinds of crying on the internet. When the game first came out, it was somewhat controversial for that aspect.
Criticizing it even then. I mean, now it's going to be like to the max, because
they're gonna complain about what's her name, Sheva's personification in the game, because Sheva.
I don't even want to know what they're going to do to her too.
They're going to destroy Sheva. And not only are they going to destroy her, but people are going to complain about how she's not a direct, proper representation of Africans, right? Which, I'm sure you get the subtext there, because, she was more like light skinned. She had more like somewhat Eurocentric features. You have characters like Excella, who's a very like submissive woman to Wesker. Like,
they may fuck her up too.
I just can't see Capcom remaking that game in earnest and
Mhm.
it not being offensive to so many people that they cave or that they don't complain about the game or whatever. So I'm pretty sure that they're gonna change a lot of the content because they couldn't even handle Resident Evil 4 Luis being a little bit sexist, quote unquote sexist.
Yeah,
So
that's why they changed his dialogue.
so imagine the kind of scenes you're gonna get in Resident Evil 5.
People
With,
better buy and save the original 5 while they still can. Well, I already bought the 5th one from
well,
my
I have it.
Xbox.
I have all the original Resident Evils, so I'm pretty good there in that department as well.
Yeah,
But
same. So
That
But-
includes the 2002 remake, right? That was
Yeah.
actually good.
well, the first remake was good. I like Resident Evil 2's remake. 3's remake was hit or miss for me though. But
it was decent, I guess. I mean,
It was
definitely,
good.
You know, disappointing in some areas, but you know,
it was good. It just lost a lot of content.
yeah, after the momentum of 2, it definitely like went down.
And you know what? I hate to say it, but Resident Evil 3 had woke crap in it too.
yeah, it did.
It did. That
Jill's
line
design and
even her dialogue.
Jill, her dialogue with Carlos.
with Carlos and even with Nemesis.
Yeah, that too.
You know, like
Yeah.
but
Nemesis should only say stars.
well Jill makes a line at the end saying something like oh, you never get the hint or whatever. It's like some cringy like crap. It's just cringy, you know, like typical, you know, women empowerment feminist bullcrap, whatever. There wasn't there. And actually her line in the original 3 was better. She's like, you want stars, I'll give you stars, and she starts blasting him. That's way freaking cooler. But
They should've
anyway,
done that. But you know they're gonna change the dialogue in 5.
I digress.
Whatever it is, they'll find that might be a little too like offensive to some people. But
I mean, and like it's just like when you look at it optically, right? Wesker is this like blonde-haired, ultra white man, right? Like he's very, very white looking, like very Aryan, and then he's exploiting Africans, and then he's exploiting these African villagers for his own personal gain, experimenting on them, and then he thinks he's a higher state of human, a higher state of being.
he's a god, yeah.
But that's also like typical. That's not typical, but that's also like
White supremacy or something.
yeah, like white. Like I can just see it being construed as like this like goofy like white supremacist like bullshit that I just don't think it's even worth doing. I think
Do you
Capcom.
think they'll change some of his dialogue so it won't come across that way?
I don't think so because in the end of the like he never really even goes there.
He's evil clearly, but you know
But
how
he
it
never-
is where it's like they can't like a lot of these like woke weirdos. They can't like enjoy something with like a real evil character. They kind of have to be somewhere in the middle. It's like
But-
they want to sympathize with an evil person or something.
Well, it's not even that because even in the original 5, he never says anything outright racist. But the idea that other people are like lesser beings than him, and then he's like this, he considers himself better, right? Like he's a better race of human, and then like he's exploiting these villagers. Like even though all of us here have common sense and we know that that's kind of like not the point of the game. Obviously, that's not the point. But I can see like idiot activists trying to conscrew it into some like racist shit. And I think to overcorrect, I can see Capcom making Wesker be like very simple. Like I can even see them race swapping Excella to say like, oh look, see Wesker has like African people working with him for his goals or something like that. Like I can see them.
Now.
Yeah, exactly. I can, and even though he was never racist, I could just see that the activists will get to them, or like Capcom's American team or whatever, their Western divisions will try to push those changes, you know? And I have no faith that they will actually remake that game properly. And they also don't need to. They don't need to remake
no point. It ages well. It's like Resident Evil 4. It's like there's no point. That's not to say that the remake is like terrible or has no business existing, but it's like the original was fine. I mean, they ported it so many times. And then you got 5 where even more so, it ages fine. It's not that old. It's like when you remake a game, it should be something that's like so old that it really warrants it being remade because you have all these different possibilities now that weren't available before. Where with Resident Evil 4 and 5, it's like the technology wasn't like that primitive at the time.
Exactly.
Like when they're thinking in their head, like, oh, we could have done this, we could have done that. No, it's just now it's like, oh, we're remaking it, so now we can do this. We can change things around, but it's not like, say, like Resident Evil 1 remake or Resident Evil 2 remake.
I
where
think
it's like you have all these different possibilities that weren't available originally before.
Maybe this time it's a virus that turns people into Lizzo.
Oh
Yeah,
my god.
it's a
I think I'd
virus.
rather
Or
have the
one of the
original
five
virus.
muses from Hercules.
It's not that it's, the men will get the low T virus and the women will get the obesity virus. But I think that really they shouldn't be constantly remaking games that came out like on the 360. I think PS2 should be kind of like the limit for now of
Even
remakes.
then, it's like, do we need some of those PS2 games remade? Like now? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, like The Last of Us had a remake. What the hell? Like, what the hell was even that, bro?
And people still bought it.
I
Yeah.
just don't like how Naughty Dog is milking that franchise dry.
Yeah, to the ground. They really are.
Yeah, I think the first. I mean, like, it's not even really a series. It's just the two games. If we look at the first game, it's like the first game is the only good one, in my opinion. The second one is like an abomination, and then the remake is unnecessary. All they did was just all they did was enhance the graphics and make a couple women more ugly, basically.
Yeah, that's all they did. There's no point.
So, yeah.
Can't they just make new games? Like, what is with all these like remakes constantly? It's like
I kind of think it's a slap in the face.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like they knew The Last of Us 2 didn't appeal to a large majority of The Last of Us 1 fans because of, the obviously political crap shoved in and the nonsensical ass-pull writing from that game
coming up too.
Yeah, so I think that they remade the first game to milk the people that didn't want to buy the second game.
Yeah,
to try to say like
type of way. So it's like now they got the remake, and it's like, all right, well, maybe they learned their lesson or something.
Well, they didn't, but but it basically was like a slap in the face to those fans. I actually think those fans that bought the Last of Us 1 remake, that hated 2, got bamboozled because they gave that company money after they spit on their face with Joel's death. But as an example, so
Uncharted was definitely more enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 are very good games.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I like those.
And the remasters were good too.
Even from a gameplay perspective, I liked 4, but obviously we know what 4 did, so I'm not gonna go like from a gameplay perspective, I liked it, but from everything else, like a story perspective and what they did, like we all know that game's basically narratively a joke.
That was basically the start of it when you think about it.
Well, he had to relearn how to use there's even a plot hole that's weird. He had used the grapple hook in
that's what it was.
In part 3, right? Or 2, one of them. I think it might have been 2 where he
it was 2. It was 2.
Where he learned to use the grapple hook.
Whatever.
Yeah, and then in 4 he always knew how to do it. So why did he need
4975 says God of War is next to be drained.
It is drained. It is being drained.
Well,
the next to be
an unpopular opinion of mine. The only God of War games I like are from the Greek era.
That's not enough. That's less unpopular than you may believe, man.
Yeah.
Really?
Because I actually agree with that. I mean, I kind of like 2018 a little bit, but it would like the Greek mythology series is much better.
Yeah, I agree with Emerald on this because I definitely don't want the integrity of the PS2 games to be squandered.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's like I'd rather them
Jack
just leave
and
it
Daxter, with the PS4 ports, that they haven't been censored in microtransactions. That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah,
they didn't make like any unnecessary changes to it.
I think though, what we really have to start doing is kind of like take a different approach and stop expecting AAA companies to give us what we want. And we're going to have to start letting AA studios grow into AAA studios through support so that we can get these budgets we can get the kind of games we really want from less biased and corrupted studios, right? Because if a AA studio or like an indie dev, they make a game that is really good and people support it, the next game could have a bigger budget, be more of a AAA game, and have all the production value, but none of the wokeness. The problem is that people only see legitimacy in like the big AAA titles, the big comic book companies, the big whatever the situation may be. So I think also as consumers and people who enjoy this stuff, we have to give the little guy support so that we can actually create that alternative. Because really, like no indie dev. no indie dev is gonna give us a game at the level with the graphical fidelity of a GTA 6 or like Last of Us 2 because they don't have the budget for it. So we have to help them by, you know.
Yeah, like even like, you know, AA studios, just it's always good to support them and hope that they, you know, have enough support where they end up growing to, you know, then they can actually get on that level of the other studios. But this time it's like now they can actually do it right where the other studios are fumbling with what they should be doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
And I think
Nintendo just hired the new voice actor of Mario and Luigi.
And who was that?
His name is Kevin Afghani.
Oh,
okay.
Never heard of him.
His voice for Mario is very similar to Charles Martinet, and it's that good.
Okay. So if he can replicate it, hey, why not? That's one thing. That's one thing you know from Nintendo. If you're playing Mario, Metroid, or Zelda, you're not gonna. It's not gonna be tainted too much by like, you know, the general thing that Western devs are doing. At least right now, so far.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's played the games and
he loves it. It's them. Uncharted has a longer campaign and co-op and multiplayer, and even the new Last of Us games can't even do that. Yeah, you know.
I would say the Mummy.
Whatever reason, they're having issues with the multiplayer for Last of Us 2.
Recent Uncharted movie.
The Uncharted movie is disgusting.
I was just saying Mummy 99 is technically a better Uncharted movie.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. The Mummy is the Uncharted movie that we really wanted. And Tom Holland, I can't believe they cast Tom Holland as Nathan Drake. I mean, I could believe it, but it's like almost like a parody, you know?
Yeah, right.
But on the positive side, you see Nolan North.
That's true. You know what would have been cool if they had Tom Selleck play Sully. Yeah,
it would have been a better casting.
Tom Selleck would be great, or get Don Fry. Screw it.
Yeah, let's go, Don Fry.
Get Don Fry in there, man.
Yeah.
And Nathan Fillion as Nathan Drake.
There you go.
There was already a fan film with him in it.
Yeah, I saw it. I think he could still pull it off, because they never really specify his age in like the later games. Like, I mean, like in the mainline games, outside of flashbacks, he's, you know, you just assume that he's an adult man. So I could see him still doing it, even though he's a little older now.
Also, our last topic is Castlevania Nocturne trash ?
Yeah, so
I didn't bother with it.
Trash.
No, I just seen little clips of it online, and
yeah,
I was more so looking at videos to get a better understanding of it. So I watched some, like, you know, Vera Dark videos where she kind of explained what was going on, like, you know, people basically ripping their asses on social media about Annette.
Bro,
you know, race swapped Annette, you know, blonde hair, pale skin. And now she's talking about slavery and equality.
Yeah, like what the hell's going on? Like, honestly, like
also real quick before you like give your input on it, I saw a video from I don't remember his name, but he was reviewing the show and was showing that there was like different like scenes, like different angles in the same scene where I forgot the main guy's name, but one where he has the whip. And then, like the next angle, he doesn't have the whip anymore. There's like characters on screen that doesn't
just
proper lighting. It's like they just put in there. Like,
bad planning, bad animation planning, and animation errors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know.
So does any of you guys like know more about the show, or your thoughts on the show, or what they did with it?
Let me just read Emerald Taurus's comment first. Investors and shareholders are the biggest problem. Yeah, they are the biggest problem. It's not just the consumers; it's also them. But I think that, like, for example, I just want to touch on this before we get more into that. Okay. That I think that a indie developer that has a moral stand, like an Eric July type kind of person, right. If they make a game company and they have those beliefs and they have good crowdfunding and people support them, they really won't need the investors, and they can remain independent. They can actually remain independent and not have to play ball with that stuff. So it really comes down to like the person in charge of that company, and if their beliefs are worth more than making more money through investors, right? So for example, if I'm making a game and I'm saying, all right, I'm getting it crowdfunded, the budget might be smaller, but I have this fan base, I'm going to put something out that's a non-woke product. If people support it, I can be like, all right, well, these investors want to give me money to fund the game, but they also want me to add ESG shit to it. I can tell them to fuck off because I know my fan base has my back. But until that kind of thing happens, I think that a lot of these developers are going to be highly pressured to go with investors. So I actually agree with his comment that investors are the problem, but I think we also have to take responsibility as consumers and try to find what we can support and the right things to support. As far as Castlevania goes, like
Castlevania Nocturne.
Yeah,
anyone doesn't know what we're talking about.
it's the show made on Netflix that's not anime. Don't let them tell you that's anime because it's not anime.
Yeah, it's not. People keep saying like, "Oh, it's anime." It's like no,
it's not an anime. Just don't be fooled by the art style. It's not anime.
That's like saying that My Adventures with Superman is an anime.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like saying Go-Go Mobile Boy is anime, but it's not.
Yeah.
Bubble Bowl puts them all to shame. But anyway, here's the thing. So Castlevania Nocturne, nobody wanted a Castlevania show where they cry about racism and where it's crying and virtue signaling about shit that has nothing to do with Dracula. Even if it's interwoven, even though they try to interweave it with the politics of the world, it's still an ass pull to just virtue signal and talk about it. And again, here's back to my previous point before. Why do people watch these Netflix shows and expect them to not have woke crap in them? You know? Like if you're a fan of Castlevania and you hear Netflix has gotten a right to the license, you should be worried.
That's an immediate red flag. That's what I would assume by now, especially by now. It's different if it was like when they first started doing it, but it's like by now, 2023, you don't get it yet.
And I've heard people
optimistic about this.
Exactly, and I've heard people say like, "Oh, well, the first season of the show wasn't true to the games either." But it's not only about being true to the games, right? Like there is some creative liberty, obviously, that these people are going to have to like make it something new out of it. But there's a difference between taking creative liberties, like where like, oh, Dracula's motivations might be a little different. They might go into certain details about certain things, and then there's a difference between that and having entire arcs based around racism and slavery and shit that has nothing to do with fucking Castlevania. Excuse my language again. I curse like a sailor sometimes, but
no, that's good.
And I'm kind of like, and my thing is like, nobody watches Castlevania to see this stuff. They watch because they want to see monsters. They want to see like the animators take on like iconic enemies and characters within the series. They don't want to hear virtue signaling. And then
next thing the net's gonna be like, we was Kangs.
And then they virtue signal, they race swapped Annette. And my thing has always been like, if race doesn't matter for the characters, why change it? Right? And if it does matter, why change it? Why was it a problem that she was white before? Either way, either reason is basically a dumbass reason to race swap them. Because none of us, I don't think anybody has a problem with black characters. They just don't like racist race swaps because that's what they are. Like look at Blade, Spawn, Static Shock, beloved characters, right? And their race never played into a factor of people of different racial groups liking them, right? Like I like them, and I always like Blade, I always like Spawn, and they were original characters. I think the problem is when they take iconic characters and they try to race swap them because they're afraid to make new characters because they think they'll fail because they don't have the brand recognition. So with Netflix, I feel like that's what they did. They wanted to tell a story about the stuff going on, like the world politics about racism and all this stuff, and they wanted to tell that story, but they had no faith in an original, in their own original work. So the writers said, "Well, I'm working on Castlevania, so let me interject these into Castlevania's world." And obviously that they're hacks, so they think that they're like doing it in an organic way when it's clearly a ham-fisted attempt.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. They have no faith in it, whatever they're creating, so they latch on to an established property, and then they put in all their, different ideas that pretty much is shit. But since they have something that has brand recognition, people will instantly go to it, hoping they're going to get something good out of it. Turns out to be shit. And then you're basically stuck with it, with this bad taste in your mouth because of what these woke hacks wanted to put in their story, in their ideas.
Yep. Christian, you're going to say something?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like the bad taste community took over the world in the 2010s.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny that I noticed these things happening back in like 2010-ish, 2009, and I would talk about it, and like my friends at the time, they always say, "Oh, I'm overthinking it. I'm making too much of it." And look at the world we live in now, where you have politicians debating wokeness. It's like, I guess it wasn't that much of a stretch after all. So it's kind of funny, but when you look at it that way. But again, like, you staying true to the source material doesn't mean a carbon copy. It just means showing respect to it and treating the IP the way it's supposed to be treated. And Arkham, like I said, the Arkham games are a great representation of that. They change a lot about the lore in the world, but it feels true to the character because they respected the character up until, Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. We're gonna see, because obviously
Gotham Knights.
Or Gotham. Well, Gotham Knights is a different team, but yeah, Gotham Knights is a great example of how to not use that IP.
Yeah, because that's all it is. They just want to do some revisionist history bullshit, and all it does is taint the IP that they're latching onto. And then when someone actually wants to do something good with it and have it be faithful and true to the source, then a lot of people will be skeptical about it because of what happened last time, so they don't trust it.
Like I said, look at the Batman 2022. They couldn't help it. They made a line about lines about white privilege like that. Like, why would you put that in a Batman movie? Like, it's asinine. And these people are going to keep doing it forever. And I just recommend that, the people that are consuming these products, they should really think about, like, this is going to keep happening. And until we make a decision to just stop supporting it and give it attention, we're just going to make it worse. Because
the best thing to do is not support it and call it out for what it is. When people decide to, like, oh, we're going to be quiet about it, I don't want to talk about it or whatever, that's how they get away with it, because all you end up hearing is a bunch of people praising it.
And support indies and support indie creators, because indie creators will make they'll make new non-woke IPs, and hey, they may not have like the lore of something that's been around for 70 years, but you can grow with the character and you could fall in love with those characters just like you did with like Batman or Cloud Strife or whatever, whatever character. So we have to give these people a chance, because that really is the only thing that's going to change, because ESG is not going anywhere. And these people, and if everything goes woke, what are you going to do? If everything goes woke, what are you going to do? Just accept it? So again, we have to give like indie creators who are not promoting this stuff, we have to give them a chance to grow into, bigger operations, bigger productions, and then we can have our non-woke stuff. But people.
But also point out is that even indie developers or indie creators, they also add in a lot of the woke shit as well.
I agree.
They also have a lot of the same beliefs, so it's very important to like look at what they're doing and how they're operating, as far as like what they're putting into in their projects, or even what they're saying in interviews or their profiles online and all that. That because it can give you a hint of what they're gonna put into their products, or what is definitely gonna be in there. Because while yes, you definitely should support them because they are worth supporting, because a lot of them are not interested in putting a lot of like that modern day shit and everything.
Exactly. Like myself or Christian Freights, he does voice acting, like, and he has his stuff. Like, he's not gonna just supporting the guys that are not gonna pull that stuff, and doing research as a consumer. Because again, like I said, all the mainstream stuff is gonna eventually be infected with this stuff. But the indie guys, they're gonna be indie developers that don't want to push it, and when that they're not, and they're doing something good, we have to support them. It's really like the best way to fight against this stuff. Like Eric July, he did Isom, and Isom made millions, and now leftists are crying and they're screaming because they can't do anything to stop them. They can only be mad. And we need more people like Eric July putting out this original content that's entertaining, doesn't have politics shoved in, being millionaires, because guess what? Those $1 million that he has now can go into him making an ISOM video game, can be, or Razor Fist, or go into making an ISOM movie, and that's how you get non-woke shit. Money talks, man. Money talks, bullshit walks. So in the end, I think that's what we have as a collective. That would be like the best way to fight against it. And again, like, don't give these people your money. If you really have to play these games really that badly, where you really want to do it, then at least don't buy it new. At least buy. I mean, I would say don't give them your money at all. But if you really have to do it, get a used copy so you're not giving them your money. You know, play offline so you don't give them any engagement. You know, I mean, again, not supporting it at all would be better, but that really is the only way. As long as they're getting your money and attention, then they're going to keep doing it. And they're going to keep doing it regardless anyway, but you're just helping them win by giving them your money and attention.
Yeah. A lot of times people will say, like, you won't know if you watch it. You won't know if you buy it. You know, maybe you should wait until then.
Yeah.
And it's like we know what they're doing. We know what they're going to try to do. Why do we have to keep supporting them just to get burnt again? So it's like, why should we keep fooling ourselves and thinking something different is going to happen when it's not? This guy dropped. Okay, so oh no, now it's just me. Oh wait, hold on, he's back.
Sorry, I accidentally exited the chat.
Oh.
So
So I guess you know, Castlevania Nocturne looks ass, and
it is ass.
Real Castlevania fans. I mean, I'm not like a huge Castlevania fan, but any avid Castlevania fan should probably stay away from it and just stick with old games for your Castlevania fix.
Yeah. Yep.
Definitely don't give Netflix the benefit of the doubt, because they've done this shit before. They're gonna keep doing it because
every IP that you think, oh, they're doing a live action this, animated that, assume that it will be woke, because it probably will. And like I said, like Revenant was saying, you know, like they definitely don't give a shit about the Castlevania IP, because if they, or even like look at The Witcher. How much did they care about The Witcher, right?
That's a great example.
So,
the director even said that. I mean, without even saying it, he basically hired people that he thought were ugly. He said, he wanted to go against beauty standards or something. So you're basically, without having to say it, you're indirectly saying that, I hired ugly people for the role.
Yeah. At least Henry Cavill enjoyed the source material.
Yeah, Henry Cavill is
they really screwed him over with that.
Henry Cavill is a very it's kind of a shame, because he cares about these IPs and then he gets shafted by the studios and bad scripts and you know, like, he's surrounded by people that don't care, you know, and I'm sure that that's extremely frustrating as a fan of like Witcher, as a fan of Superman, as a fan of, you know, everything he's involved in. So, you know, Henry Cavill, you know, he's one of the few non-weirdo Hollywood guys as of now, as of what I know.
Yeah, hopefully it stays that way. Have you guys played an indie called Sable? Was made by just two British guys, and it's absolutely brilliant. One of my favorite games ever. There was nothing woke in it that I saw.
I've never played it.
Heard the name of it, but I don't know what it is.
I never played it or heard of it, but I'll watch a video on YouTube and see what it's about. I mean,
and
I'll check it out.
Yeah,
but so you know,
but that's good. Yeah, so a game like Sable, definitely people should probably check that out and see what it's about.
Exactly,
it may end up being good.
Exactly.
And it's nothing wrong with trying it, especially if there's like a free demo out somewhere.
Yeah. So I mean, ultimately, like, in the end of the day, like, there are some games coming out that we can like look forward to, like Tekken 8. There was that game made by that Eastern studio. What's the one? She had the white bodysuit on. She had like the Stellar Blade and stuff like that. So, you know,
no, I think it is actually. I don't know. Maybe it's.
Is it Chinese?
I think they're Korean.
Okay, well, there's things to look forward to, so we'll see. But I think we just have to use our better judgment
And hope for the best.
and call out the truth. If it is what it is, don't lie to yourself.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's all.
So anyway, I
So-
think that's the last subject, right?
There's still Mortal Kombat. If you want to get into that a little bit.
We did talk about Mortal Kombat.
I did go into it a bit, while you were gone.
Yeah. I kind of said what I needed to say anyway with those videos. So,
and also
and I don't
again,
think that guy's coming back either. So,
no, I mean, like I said, most of the people defending Mortal Kombat's wokeness is just because they love Mortal Kombat and they don't like hearing bad things about their beloved series. But in the end of the day, they shit in on all the characters. They made a universe with no consequences now. The story has terrible writing, feminist bullshit, ugly women, covered up women, a cameo system that
it's
a
just
cameo.
luring old fans.
The cameo system, the lure in old fans, it kind of is obnoxious. I mean, that's subjective, but I personally don't like the idea of cameo fighters. I think that they kind of ruined the 1v1 brutal nature of the game. And again, you got like situations like Johnny Cage calling Tanya a bitch, and then Kung Lao jumping out his throat she didn't try to kill them. It's bad, and people can defend it all they want. And they can like it, but there's no debate of whether it's woke or not. It's woke. If you like it or not,
that MCU esque ending, which is goofy as fuck.
Yeah,
and I don't know. It's just
and
stupid.
the timeline thing is just an excuse to gender and race swap characters, really. So you can play female Scorpion, so you can have a female Johnny Cage and stuff.
It's gonna be a female Scorpion too. So.
Yeah, so that's all it is. That's what that game is. It's a cash-in. Ed Boon doesn't care. He's trying to make his Hollywood friends happy. Yeah. Again, this guy. You have to understand that a person like Ed Boon is a very misguided individual, because that's somebody who thinks that sexuality is bad, but it's oppressive and sexist, but I can rip the skin off a woman's face and see the innards of her face. They're full of shit. And honestly, we could make a multi-hour video just analyzing the game story, and I could pick it apart. But there's no point, because I think anybody who understands wokeness doesn't need somebody like me or you to do that, to point out every little detail. And plus, we've talked about it several times before, so. It is what it is. Just watch cutscenes on YouTube, and you'll see what's up.
Put the pieces together and see what they're doing.
Yeah,
what they're trying to tell you. I mean, you got freaking gender swapped Bo Raicho.
Why is Bo Raicho gender swapped into Madame Bo? Why is King Jared saying things like Queen Sindel, I'm always at your service, or whatever? These little lines are just these kind of little pieces of dialogue are just put in to be subliminal, they're showing allegiance subliminally with certain ideologies.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, and Sindel being evil all along in 11, that was a bad writing decision.
That was a terrible retcon. That retcon was awful.
Oh yeah,
that was awful.
Neutral at best.
Yeah, but wasn't that also applied to Mortal Kombat 9? Wasn't that when they revealed that she was? It was 11 where they revealed she was always evil.
Jinpachi chose blocking.
That's just what I do.
Transforming.
That's just what I do, man. But yeah. So
microtransactions in the game as well. The Switch port is fucking terrible.
It's broken.
They basically lied, because apparently they were using PC footage showing off the Switch version.
Exactly.
Further egregious to what that company is doing. I mean, people will probably be like, "Oh, it's Warner Brothers doing it, not NetherRealm." They're both fucking scummy ass corporate elite bastards.
NetherRealm is you know what game NetherRealm really wanted to make? Mortal Kombat 9. And you know why they made that game that way? Because they knew it was their last hurrah, and they pretty much were on their deathbed. So they just did what they wanted to do with the game. And then when they succeeded and they stood around, then they made Mortal Kombat X and 11, where they played ball with propaganda. But think about it.
Safe. They can do it.
The game where they were on a deathbed, sexualized women, crazier.
What the series is about.
Generally,
a good homage to the series.
A good homage to the series. Definitely not politically correct.
Definitely. I mean, it came out at a time where we weren't really seeing that type of shit. So,
And as soon as that game kept them alive, they said, "All right, now we're gonna do like woke shit." And Injustice 1 and 2 pretty much weren't woke, but the third game for sure will be.
yeah, give it time.
From what I remember, 1 and 2 weren't woke. I mean, I could be wrong, but I remember them being like both not really having too many politics shoved in there. From what I remember, and but the third game, I mean, they got away with it with 11 and 1. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Yeah, so I mean that's basically it, right? Those were all the subjects. I think
Pretty
we're
much. Yeah, just those 4 really. So, anything? Let me see. Is there any comments any of you guys want to respond to? Let me see. Looking forward to like a dragon. Yeah, I'm looking forward to like a dragon Gaiden and definitely Infinite Wealth. So hopefully they don't fuck that up with those games. And I don't trust Young Yea's voice acting, but thankfully,
Imperator Z.
be a match, right? So
Imperator Z says the women in 2 could have looked a little better. I kind of agree. They could have looked a little prettier, but in Injustice 2,
oh,
they could have looked a little prettier for sure. But at least narratively, it wasn't like really like woke like that. But they definitely could have been prettier. Like Black Cat, not Black Cat. Why am I saying Black Cat? Black Canary. She had like a pretty decent body, but her face was kind of like a little funky.
yeah, it was definitely.
I got a PS5 and Series X at launch and have barely played them. Only AAA I got and I won it on YouTube was Dead Island 2. I enjoyed it, but it just wasn't as good as the original. Yeah, like right now, like they're still pretty much bricks, kind of. I mean, they're not bricks, but like
I guess it really depends on what you're into.
What you're into. Yeah, so, they're not bricks. They're not bricks, but there's still a lack of games considering how long they've been around at this point.
I think the other issue is that they keep making them cross-gen. So that's kind of like making people not really like feel the need to like jump on board to the new consoles.
Imperator Z makes a good point about ISOM, and I actually agree with it.
Yeah, that's why I highlighted earlier.
Cyberpunk Edge Runners and Records of Ragnarok are the only Netflix stuff I like, and it's still not giving Netflix money. I don't also want to watch Baki. Yeah, Baki's pretty good. There are some third-party things thrown on Netflix that are decent, but anything made by Netflix or produced by them, I would be highly cautious of. And the only reason why Edge Runners got away with what they did is because despite having sexy women and violence and all those things, they also had a little bit of like modern like LGBT identity politics shoved in. So I guess they felt like the show was acceptable by their terms because it does, Cyberpunk, they use Cyberpunk to promote like a lot of transhuman ideas, transgender ideas, stuff like that. So I'm not surprised that Netflix didn't have much of an issue censoring that one. Imperator Z says ISOM isn't that good though. Mid-writing, art, and pacing is all over the place. Shouldn't we really keep supporting if the quality isn't there? So Imperator Z, I don't know if you're there. So when I was talking about supporting things like ISOM, I actually meant things like ISOM, but ISOM itself doesn't appeal to me for very similar reasons. We're actually in agreement there. So I actually don't think the writing's that good, and I really don't like the design of ISOM himself. I think the design is pretty bad, and I think really what carries the comic is the artwork being done by professional quality artists. But I think like from a writing and story perspective and character design perspective, I don't think it's very good. But what I do think is that that's an example of fans supporting a non-woke product and it doing well enough for him to like, make other ventures that could also put more non-woke things into the ether. So I think that that's really what my point is that we have to support other things the way ISOM was supported, but not necessarily talking about the quality of ISOM being good. So hopefully that makes it clear my thoughts on it, because I've had plenty of conversations with Revenant where, on one hand, I would tell him that I'm kind of cut down the middle, because on one hand, I'm happy that, leftists are getting pissed off because this person who's against everything they believe in is making something that's highly successful and doesn't promote their ideologies. But on the other hand, I don't think it's that good from a writing and design perspective. So it's like I'm not going to personally buy it, and I don't personally think it's good. But I think that it's just an example of what we can do when we say no to
the bigger companies.
The bigger companies and the shit they want to shove down our throats. But I actually
kind of prove to them that this is how it should be handled.
Yes, but again, I do agree with you that I don't think the writing is good, and I don't like the I don't like
It
the
can definitely
designs.
be better. Yeah,
Yeah, I always found Isom to look like a generic X-Men character, to be honest,
that's
like
what I
a
was.
like a background mutant or
Yeah,
something. But whatever, you know. In the end of the
but,
day,
yeah,
it's not for
good
me.
on Eric July for what he
Yeah,
did,
yeah, exactly. Good on Eric July,
and,
but
and anyone else who like
does the same
creates
thing,
their own like thing.
whether I like it or not. If especially if it doesn't support the woke agenda. But
Yes, like
yeah.
it adds on to the alternatives that we have available,
Mhm.
basically.
But that's good that he wrote that comment because I have said that many times to you personally, and
Yeah.
and it's good that he reminded me because I did definitely wanted to share that
Mhm.
when we talked about Isom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that's basically it, right? I'm working on an animated original series. Episode 1 pilot is on my channel. It's called Augur. You guys can check it out. It's a one-man animation, so again, like, take it with like a grain of salt, but you might enjoy it. It's free to watch. I'm planning on making episode 2 soon, and check it out.
Yeah, I had a little sample of it in the beginning.
Yeah, so you may or may not enjoy it. If it does well, it does better. I want to kickstart it, get more animators on board, more voice actors. So again, like I said, keep in mind that it was a one-man project. It was like a passion project. So check it out. It's on my channel. It's on my what's it called? The homepage. It's on my homepage. And check it out. Thank you, and I appreciate it in advance. And obviously, it's non-woke. I mean, you guys heard me talking for a few hours. I don't support that crap. So, Christian, anything to say before we wrap things up?
Well,
like an
if
outro or
you'd like
anything?
to check out, like my loving of obscure media or voice acting and whatnot, I have my own channel and I'm working on an Evil Con Carne reanimate project to help animators reanimate the Evil Con Carne first episode, because you know how I am with lesser known stuff.
Yeah, so check it out, and I'm sure that's going to be awesome when it comes to fruition.
Yes, and
Yeah,
it will
definitely.
be released on December of next year. So,
Looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Also, I also do a lot of gameplay, so I play a lot of Arkham Knight. I sometimes stream other games. So, like I said, I also have a lot of gaming content, and a lot of it is more like stylized, like Arkham sequences and combat and stuff like that. But I also play like other games, so you can also check that out as well. And yeah, so that's basically it. That's all I had to say. And like, check it out, give it a look.
Yeah, so I think we did pretty good for the first time. I appreciate you guys coming through and talking about these topics that I had. So if anyone has any suggestions for other topics, we can do it again, I don't know, maybe next week or a week later or something. And maybe this could be more like a regular thing going on. But
Yeah,
I appreciate everyone who stopped by, everyone who commented. I finally, telling midway, I learned how to highlight the comments on the screen. So I would have definitely highlighted other comments before.
And plus, we'll we'll be a little more organized next time, so things will go at a more smoother pace. Because it took us about 40 minutes to even settle everything down, right?
Yeah.
So next time it'll be a lot smoother. We'll have things more streamlined. Anybody who wants to talk or debate or even disagrees, it's fine. We'll keep it civil here.
Come join. It doesn't. So don't be worried about if I join, everyone's gonna talk over me or everyone's gonna gang up on me. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, if you disagree,
conversation, we're gonna have an honest conversation.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you're not doing ad hominem and insulting the other person, then your privacy and you'll be respected as well. Come with respect, you'll receive respect. And if you honestly want to debate from a genuine place, and come on and debate. We won't gang up on you. We'll let you speak. You'll have your time to talk, and we'll keep it civil. And
even if it's unrelated to the topics, you just want to talk about something real quick, and then
you can just
it's no big deal.
You could just come on and talk about something. If you agree, you can come on. Everyone's welcome as long as you keep it respectful. If you don't keep it respectful, then your ass is getting booted.
Yeah.
Or you don't treat other people with respect, you'll receive disrespect as well. So keep that in mind. Which will likely lead to you getting booted because we're trying to keep things civil here.
Yeah, to the best that we can.
Yeah. So all right, I guess that's it for me. I'm gonna have a couple things I need to do. Thanks for having me on. Like always, I always enjoy talking to you.
Yeah.
And check out my original animation auger, and check out my channel, subscribe if you want. If not, it's cool too. And thanks for having me. See you later.
Later.
Bye.
See you, Christian.
Later, everyone. Thanks for stopping by.